You guys want to hear a sad story, by the way? Check this out. So my favorite Korean barbecue / hot pot spot, K-Pot here in San Antonio. The best vibe, man. Just the best vibe. We took Hannah, myself, and we took Rudy from the Rounders Night stream. We took him there the other day, and it's so good. The experience, the vibes, the energy, the food, it comes out so quick. It's literally just the best. But saw that one of their workers was wearing this cool K-Pot bucket hat. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, do you have one in my side? Well, Rudy noticed it, told me, and then asked about it. And they did. They even went in the back and looked, you know, try to find one, and they did. Why is this alarm going off again? Oh my gosh, that's annoying. Literally, that's so triggering. I need to change that sound. But anyway, it doesn't fit my head. I forget how much I paid for this. But I look like some sort of meme or weird, or like Soda Popinski. Do you guys remember Soda Popinski from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Or like, what do I look like? Someone or something weird. No, Dr. Seuss. I look like a Dr. Seuss character, don't I? But I think I'm still gonna rock this hat, man. Even though I look super weird. Don't I look weird? It doesn't fit on my head though. Look at this. I could pull it down and it could fit, but my brain's literally gonna explode. It's too tight. Maybe I'll wear it like this though. Seriously, I would advertise for this company. I would tell people, everyone go to K-Pot. The best experience, best Korean barbecue that I've been to. Anyway, we're back. We're back in the Venom. We're back in the Venom, and we just want to flip in the Sadie. Okay, let me see here. We're gonna raise the 6s. We're gonna check with Ghost and see if all claimed. So this is a situation we might be able to get some folds by betting a blind. I'm gonna go for it. Oh, I thought we were gonna bank a 6 on the turn. They don't have ace king. They don't have kings. They don't have aces. They didn't 3-bet us. So we're just really not worried about them having super big hands here. That said, I am going to continue a bluff here. When they have Jack 10, Queen 10, when they have some smaller pairs, potentially better pairs than mine that would have floated the flop for a blind, pocket 7s and 8s. They can get those hands to fold. Not trying. Oh, what a river! I was gonna say, not trying to get king queen necessarily to fold there. I think they call. We gotta downsize this river here. Worst case scenario, they have, as far as hands beating us, is just like ace 9 suited in hearts. That's it. Ace 9 of spades, ace 9 in hearts. Maybe they folded king queen there, but I do think I made a good sizing, but they also could have just had jack 10 queen 10, then we're calling anything. Okay, so it looks like our YouTube winners did claim. So I'm going to go ahead and start the Twitch giveaways. So congratulations to our winners, Juice, Squand, and Nyman. On YouTube, thanks for watching over there, everyone. This is versus Big Blind Defend, so we got an easy bet. Let's get this set up, and then I'm going to send. All right, swipe your diamond cards if you're watching on Twitch. As long as you are a follower of the stream, then that means you have access to our diamond card emote, which you will see people spamming in the chat now. You only need to put it into the chat once to enter this giveaway, but I'm going to set my annoying alarm. No, I'm gonna wait for you guys. 1:30. It's like 20-some minutes from now. No, we can't wait that long. We gotta go like 10 minutes because it's in late registration. I want you guys to have some time to get in there. Thanks, Mikey, for following on Instagram. Cheers. Okay, so yep, swipe your diamond cards in the Twitch chat. I'm going to stake three more people. We just put in 3 from YouTube into the Super Sunday 100K 1650 buy-in. If you accept this giveaway and you win, you get to keep 50% of whatever you win, and you send me the other 50% back on me. So you assume no risk and get to play for 50%. Okay. So Juice HFG, I do think that this is my man Juice from Rounders, right? So brother, hope you do well. Keep me posted. However you all would like to keep me posted. Juiced, Squand, and Nyman. All right, Nyman, I don't recognize your username. Alrighty, so please contact me. Bet on Drew on Instagram. You could DM me on Discord. Please let me know when you have entered the tournament, Nyman. Okay? And no offense, but Ghost, keep an eye on anyone that we don't know who gets into these stake giveaways. I need to have some sort of method of communication. So Nyman, I'm going to send yours last here. Can you please let me know where you're going to contact me and keep me posted on how you do in this tournament? Juice as well, if you're not the Juice from Rounders. Because if you are the Juice from Rounders, I know you can just keep in touch with me on Instagram. And then Squand, we know Squand. All right, so Nyman, let me know how you are going to contact me, and Juice as well. Ghost, can you keep an eye on that in the YouTube chat? Since those are our YouTube winners. Twitch people, we have DMs and whatnot. YouTube, though, there's no like DM service, so you can't keep in touch with me that way, while random Twitch users can with the whispers. So just a little bit of a different situation, and it's new for us, but I'm not gonna let something like that kind of hold us back from doing giveaways there. We'll try to figure out a way to work through it. What's up there, Scratch22? Our friend from Portugal. How are you? Oh, Diogo from the cage. Everyone, if you remember from the live stream, Diogo was sitting to my right and then to my left, right on early in day 2, and then to my left later on day 2 for a bit. In the chat, what's up, man? Pleasure to meet you. Cheers, brother. Thanks for coming through saying what's up. That's really cool. Look at you getting on social media, man. Finding your way over to Twitch. What's up, P-Wing? Thanks for the good luck in the Venom. Good luck to you as well. Good luck to you as well. But yeah, Diogo, cheers, brother. Good luck if you're playing today. I know you grind online, so you are likely playing today. We're one-tabling this 2650 Venom. I'm actually playing a Sadie for another Venom ticket off to the side. We got 5 minutes left in late reg. $290 buy-in, guaranteeing 50 tickets. So that's kind of a satellite I couldn't pass up. I don't consider myself playing more than one game. Satellites are, I think, can kind of just like autopilot fairly decently through. Okay, Juice, your 1650 is sent. Squand, you are next. Squand, the 1650 is on the way. Okay, Squand, yours is sent. And then Nyman, we just need to get some communication from you, and I will send yours shortly. We got the Twitch ones going. We've got a deal. Okay, Juice. I'm pretty sure, Juice, you are the Rounders Juice. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the YouTube chat as well to see how our players will communicate with us. Same thing for you, Twitchers. Please let me know how you're going to communicate. Let me know when you get into the staked events. We need to make sure that players, when we do things like that, are playing and they're not just taking opportunities from other community members. Very important to me. Squad, go ahead and get in now. Get in now. You and Juice. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's good to see everyone.
UK Poker RB Challenge. I have to get fake names. Come out here. And I won one of those.
How did you win a competition?
What do we got here? 4th place. Oh, 1 bullet. Nice us. So about 150.
So I just got moved tables. Ryan sat, played our first orbit. He didn't go bust, which is fantastic.
Stop. Me llamo Drew.
Basically, you can see like what other high-level players are thinking, what they're supposed to do in certain spots, and then you can exploit that.
Hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? It is good to see you this evening. So, surprise study stream. And honestly, I've been wanting to do these study streams for a minute now. Being busy aside, I had to wait for a couple of things to come together. But anyway, the study streams that we're going to be doing, sponsored by GTO Wizard. So if you don't already have a GTO Wizard, we do have a link in our About section on our Twitch, also in the description on YouTube. And in our chat commands, you can also type in !GTO and it will bring up a link for you. There's a discount as well. But what I want to do is, it's funny, I actually just made my initial WSOP schedule for this summer. And there's going to be some Punter's Pad events in there that I am going to be playing. And then around that, I built my schedule. And today was the first time I kind of like got excited for the summer. You know, last summer we had a great summer. You know, we battled with Boski on the live belt. So we had the Punter's Pad and we just had like another great summer, you know, pulling the 50K bounty, chopping the Aria tournament, final tabling the bracelet event. Like so many awesome things happened. Ate some great food. And yeah, it's like right around the corner. And I know a lot of you in the chat. I see Ginger, Squand, Ghost, Neilio, Sui, Mage, Bobby, Flawless Victory, Sir Pogs a lot. What's going on, everyone? AMTT, Slava, Lurkers. I know a handful of you are going out to the WSOP this summer as well. And it's kind of like there's always a lot of good poker to be played live and of course online. But there is something special about that hyper focus that is drawn to going out to Vegas, playing for a bracelet. A lot of people that you know, a large majority of the poker community is all focused in Vegas in the summer. So it's a different experience. I look forward to doing some Drew Crew meetups, especially whoever the 2 home game winners are that we're going to be sending out to play bracelet event number 3. I'm looking forward to the breakfast we have leading up, you know, all going over to Paris and, you know, registering for that event together. So this is kind of the lead up. These study sessions, I feel like, are the lead up and the preparation for all of that. You feel me? Yes. So we're going to get into some studying here today. And I figured what I would do is I'm going to start and I'm going to play back through my Venom hands, and any hands that seem like a spot, maybe it's a pre-flop open, maybe it's a 3-bet, and then how do we continue post-flop. excuse me, situation. We're going to take a look at these. We're going to try to find some peace over it. We're going to try to see if there's something that we can learn and get better, because I am very far from perfect or theoretically sound. A lot of you who watch the streams know that I like to kind of deviate whenever possible and do some janky things, and you know, it works out from time to time, but having that baseline is super, super important. So without further ado here, what's up, Navanda? How are you? Yes, so Ghost, I did just touch on that, but we'll say it again. 2 people from our Wednesday night no delay home game stream, whoever the top 2-point earners are going to be going to the 2024 WSOP, meeting me. I will be hand delivering first place trophy and the second place medal. So this is this Wednesday. There's still 4 weeks left to compete. Never 3-putt, Zippy Gold, Fishing Lake, top 3. And you can see the top 2 are competing for the WSOP packages, 700 for travel, 500 for the buy-in. And then we have the tickets for the other top 7 performers in our home game. All right. So good reminder. Perfect. And let's get into it. So check this out. This is how our study session is gonna look today. I have a GTO Wizard open, and we're gonna go through our hands-on poker tracker from the Venom. And then once we get through this, depending on how long it takes, where our mental capacity is at, we will take a look at some other tagged hands that I have in poker tracker. Okay, so we are no delay. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and yeah, we'll get into it. What's up, Professor Grind? How are you, brother? Oh, we should do some giveaways too, huh? Let me see something real quick. Remind me in a little bit. We'll give away some ACR. We'll do something fun. You know, I don't know. It's just fun for me. I like to sweat to see who wins stuff. But for now, yes, let's go through these hands. This is the 2650 buy-in Venom, 12.5 million guaranteed that's going on right now. This is day 1A. We did bust out of this, and honestly, I felt pretty good about my play. I mentioned even to the bust out, it wasn't one of those where I felt like weird or anything. So you're gonna get to see the whole thing played out, and then you could be the judge. All right, so let's see here. So we got 9-7 off in the small blind. Where's my button? There it is. All right, Queen Deuce off. We fold button. What's up, Aces on River? How are you? Let's go. Let's get it. And yes, feel free to chat with me, everyone. I'm here. If I happen to miss your comment, just, you know, run back through it, say something to me, tag me, and we'll get it in. All right, so not too much. King 8, maybe a weak table. I would open that if I had that information, or I just felt like I had a massive edge. Back 10 off. Part of me wants to open, a little wide from under the gun though. What's up there, Mage? How are you? Jack 5 off. Looking to fold. 7 deuce suited. Queen 4 offsuit. Let's get to the. All right. So here we go. This deuce's hand. Where does your instincts lead you? I don't really know how I plan to structure this study session, but it'll be interactive. Like, I could just rip through it and not ask you guys questions, or I might ask questions. This one here, I think, is mostly a call, but I decided to 3-bet it because I just decided that I was going to late position open. I could get a bunch of folds here when I 3-bet it, but also in the Venom, I think that there is definitely a higher squeeze percentage. So if somebody's going to, I don't want to do too much calling. I'm leaning on the side of wanting to be aggressive and 3-bet. For those of you who saw the Venom stream the other day, I was like smooth sailing. I was just picking up pots here early, being aggressive with hands. So I was like 3-betting hands that it's either a really low frequency 3-bet or I just shouldn't be 3-betting. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started, Nelia. We gotta focus. The fights on Saturday were crazy, man. What is it? Shift left? Oh, I'm doing control left, but yeah, shift left. Go. I don't think I knew that, Professor. Good looking out. What's up, Killer Clout? Doing good, doing good. Just getting our study on. Things have been good. I can't complain. What's up there, Oliver? You can isolate and go all in, and you can flat out call. Hopefully get us on the flop. Yeah. Well, let's see here, actually. What is this? Cut off, and we are actually hijack. Let's see. Hijack, raise. so we're in the cutoff here in this hand. Check this out. Here is our response. So you can see red is 3-bet, and this is at 100 big blinds. We're going to keep it here. Most of the Venom is pretty deep early, so we're going to be studying right now 100 big blinds. But as we get shorter, we're going to adjust this because obviously, well, not obviously, but for those of you who don't know, depending how big your stack is will dictate how you should play certain hands. And then now, so we're looking at this 100 big blinds deep, even though in our exact example, we're 176 bigs deep. So kind of like a side note, the deeper we get, the tighter we should play, generally speaking. But yeah, twos is just a pure 100% call all day. Call all day here. But we did turn it into a 3-bet. So yeah, we're not really starting to 3-bet. If you just look at, so memorizing this, I don't try to memorize graphs, charts, or anything anymore. What I try to do is find some sort of shape or some sort of visual way that I can remember and have an idea. And as I go through hands and study, what I'm typically trying to do is just try to like bury stuff into my subconscious and then hope that when it comes game time, that my instincts are there and that I do whatever I can to summon that information and that data that I have in my subconscious, right? So looking at this, if you just kind of visually, 100 big blinds versus cutoff or hijack open, we're in the cutoff. You can see a heavy density of red up here. And this is our strongest hands here. And it looks like it's leaning towards the offsuit, ace 10, ace jack doing 3-betting, and king queen off, king jack off in this situation. And of course our strongest hands like aces, kings, ace king. You're 100 big blinds deep, we want to 3-bet and try to build up a pot. But then we do see some density in raising over here in this middling ace X to ace low suited range. So you kind of get an idea if we're trying to humanize this, which I feel like we should be trying to humanize everything. Like who could remember this? We got the heavy density over here in our very strong Broadway big pair hands leaning towards offsuit. And then you see the suited stuff is going to be easier to play post flop at this stack depth. So we are seeing a bit more calling on this side. So if we, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to try to be very level 1 for everybody tuning into our first study session, whether on YouTube or Twitch. So you kind of have the baseline for these future WSOP prep study sessions that we're going to be doing. But if you've never seen one of these charts before, if we go from top left corner to bottom right corner, these are all of our pairs. Whenever you see this chart, just know that this line right here is the pairs. And then as we go to the right, this is the suited side. And then this is the unsuited side with hands. All right, so we'll just keep it like that, super simple. And anyway, 100 big blinds deep here. This is just a call, but we did decide to be aggressive and 3-bet it to take the lead, represent. And this is also one of those hands too, where we're not blocking a lot of their hands. If you've ever looked at Sims before, a lot of our like triple barrel, just pile off hands are like 2s, 3s, and 4s. So I was like, okay, let's go, right? Clout. Oh yeah, I remember you, Clout, with the Q versus the K there. What's up, Never 3-Putt? How are you? Never 3-Putt, currently number 1 in the leaderboard. All right, the home game leaderboard. So we 3-bet and we get the fold. All right. Let's see. Queen 9 off. And another simple thing for those of you out there who have not really studied this way before, and just like a simple thing to put out there, if you're looking at like 3-betting versus calling, or even just like opening hands, we're generally going to be playing more hands on the suited side than we will offsuit side. So if you ever see like a king jack, king 10 offsuit, you're wondering, oh, should I call, 3-bet, things like that. Like a decent amount of time, those hands are going to be folded. But if you look on the other side, king 10 off, king 10 suited is being played a variety of ways. So our suited combination of hands, meaning all the different suited type of hands that we could have, those hands we're going to be playing more often than their offsuit counterparts, right? Like this example, king 10 off, queen 10 off, jack 10 off in this scenario. You see the suited stuff, we're just playing the suited stuff. All right, so kind of keep that in mind. I know that was something super helpful for me when I first started learning theory on a deeper level, using the solvers, running my own solves in Pio, Pio, whatever. So just keep that in mind if you're ever looking at some of these situations. All right, so we got the Jack 9 suited. So since we're deep stacked, I know that we can 3-bet some more suited stuff here. Calling, I think, is totally fine. I think this will be definitely a mixed situation. What do you guys like? Do you just defend here a lot? We're 187 blinds deep. I like the idea of 3-betting. I'm kind of just generally always looking for spots that I can 3-bet, and I just want to take them, even if they're low frequency. I just think that, you know, playing aggressive is the way for sure. What's up, Tail Happens? Cheers, buddy. Good to see you out there. Well, see, GTO Wizard gives the baseline so that I know if I'm efficiently deviating, though, you know, I'll manufacture some reasons to do some things. All right. Crypto Guru says I like a 3-bet here. All right, let's see what I did. So I decided to call here, but let's look because I'm very curious about this one. I'm going to be curious about like all my hands. I'm going to show you, this is basically me studying. I am going to try to kind of give some tips and pointers for some newer people studying, but I'm not going to try to act like I know it all. That's not what this is about. This is about me trying to figure stuff out and seeing creatively how I can grow my game. All right, so we are here in the big blind facing a cutoff open. All right, so let's do this. Cutoff open, and then we are in big blind. So here's our strategy. And again, just another visual point to make. See this blue? Blue is fold. This is no man's land here. This little molehill is no man's land if you're ever looking at charts. This offsuits, far away gap type of stuff, you're just gonna be folding a lot. But their counterparts, the suited stuff, you see that we are playing in one way or another. If somebody raises, now this is from 100 big blinds. Someone raises from the cutoff and we are in the big blind. You can see there is not a suited hand we should be folding. We should just be calling everything. And this is going to be very common throughout a bunch of the different stack depths. So let's see, Jack 9 suited though is what we have here, specifically the heavy 3-bet. I missed it. Oh my gosh, man. Look at this. So the red is raise. You guys, this is the key over here. So red is raise, and they are suggesting that we make it 11.5 blinds. So a little over 4x out of position. Green is call. So this Jack 9 suited, look at this. So look where the density is. The density here is at Jack 10 suited, Jack 9 suited, Jack 8, 10 8, 10 9 suited, 9 8 suited. So we're deep stacked, and it likes to see these suited connected hands here in this region 3-betting. You can see a lot of the other stuff we're just like calling, 3-betting some of the suited ace-x, and then all the stronger stuff you could see. The pairs, 10s plus, your ace-king, your ace-queen, we're 3-betting here. So you get a little bit of a visual. And gosh, I went low frequency here, huh? With the call. So what is that, like, yeah, 33% call. Suited king mid as well, let me see here. Suited king mid, yep, suited king mid. So definitely we could drag the density right around here so you get an idea. Gosh, I made this I drew, it's in my tablet somewhere, this chart, because with this whole densities and visualization of these charts, I feel like there's ways to categorize this and give it like fun names. Like this, when I say like no man's land, on the chart that I drew up to try to have some like visual, this is like sexy town up here because like the ace 5 suited, the king 6, king 5, ace 4 suited, like this area is going to be doing some like random 3-betting that a lot of us might not think about a lot. So this is like sexy town, mini sexy town or something. You know, I was trying to think of ways to describe different areas of this chart. And this is no man's land. This is the Hamptons. I call this like top 3% range, the Hamptons in it. You know, if you kind of know what section you're going to, you kind of think about what you can do. So anyway, this is where you decided to call. What's up, the John C says, I'd rather just get lucky than study. Hey, I mean, that is legit, seriously. I just want to say this quick, because now you brought it up and I'm in rambly mode. that's cool. For those of you who don't want to study and you do just want to play poker and click and get lucky, I've been there. I think there's actually, I don't know who hasn't been there as a poker player in that stage. And if you have a job, you play poker for fun, that's what it should just be, fun. And even if you play more professionally, I still think poker should be fun. We got to find a way to do that because then we'll just play better. But you know, if you're like treating it like a business and you're trying to be as profitable, you're super competitive, you know, you're going to study. So there's like multiple ways to play and enjoy this game. And I'm kind of on the fence of both at times. So let's see what happens here. What's up, Zach Attack? How's it going, brother? Good to see you, champ. Okay, let's see. So we defended, they bet, and we fold. We do have backdoor straight draw, 2 overs. I wish there was at least 1 heart on the flop. 1 heart on the flop, I probably check raise, because then there's going to be a lot of cool hands for me to... Let's just actually... Let me just see this here. Let us put this in. I think that Jack 9 of diamonds would like to check raise here, or at least call. We can't fold Jack 9 of diamonds. I think Jack 8 or Jack 9 of hearts is totally fine. But let's take a look here, okay? Let's dig in a little bit. So in this example, I just check folded, but let's analyze. And so big blind here. So this is what I put in is cutoff raise, and then I just called in big blind. Now we're at the flop, 8-6-3. And our strategy here, look, this is a very easy visual cue, right? See the green, if we're playing anything here on the flop, we're just checking. Green is check in this instance because a bet hasn't been put out. So green is check or call whenever you see these on the chart. But this is just not a board, this 8-6-3, that we ever lead out defending big blind off 100 bigs. All right, let me see. Now we check, and then the cutoff bet a third. So the pot you could see right here is 6 blinds. They bet a third. And then now Professor is predicting can't fold here for small sizing. Okay, let's see. What's up, Tuffy? Good to see you. Does ramen help with studying? Yes, Squan, it actually does. I had some, what are the fatter noodles called? Udon noodles. And I made some udon chicken noodle soup. Okay, so let's take a look at the Jack 9 suited. I'm gonna click on this here now, and let's go over and study. So look at this bottom right section. Now this bottom right section is gonna show you of the 4 Jack 9 suiteds, what the strategy looks like. Okay, so in the top left of this box, you see the Jack 9 of spades. And then over here, Jack 9 of hearts. So my suspicions were correct. The blue here, fold. We're folding 54% of the time with Jack 9 of hearts, which is what I have here in this example. And then my point that I was also making is if we have that backdoor flush draw, it's super important, right? So, okay, so I was on par with that. And as far as the raising, like we just cannot fold if we have backdoor flush draw here as well. That's what we're seeing. But because we had the specific combo that we want to fold here over half the time on this flop. Very interesting, right? Thinking about the suited hands in this spot, 8-6-3 rainbow. It's like, well, you got to call, and you got to call or play it. So let's see, Jack 9 of spades. We would want to raise two raise sizes. I'm gonna ignore this like 2.4% of the time raise size and look at this 36. So just, you know, try to ballpark in the head. 36% of the time we want to go from 2.21 blinds to 5.35 blinds, and the other 59% of the time, 60%, whatever, we want to call. Okay, so that's cool. 33% is not small enough to call Subi. Well, this is based off exactly that. That's the cool thing about this. Once you learn how to use this, and if you don't have GTO Wizard and you want to ask questions, hang out, learn it, and get to use it and be able to see these conclusions and make your conclusions and study more, we're also going to do some GTO Wizard trainer. So this is going to give us examples. We're going to play through it and see how we do. So we're going to end our stream with like a workout after we're done looking over some hands. So stay tuned for that if you want to see what that's like. but exclamation point GTO if you are watching on Twitch, and it's also in the YouTube description if you want to download GTO Wizard. I promise you, I'm going to get in at least 10 to 15 streams of study streams. So if you're going to download and get GTO Wizard, I will be here for multiple live stream sessions, and I will try to find a specific day that you can count on us being here to study. I will figure that out so we can get into this, and then you can empower yourself to figure these things out for yourself. Okay, so let's see. And you know what I'm going to do, I think, too? Now, we just kind of studied that spot. Once the moment is over, we're just going to move on to the next hand, because we could continue if we wanted to like put out different turn cards and study and see how, when we do check raise the Jack 9 suited, you know, what cards we continue on, things like that. But we're going to try to stay in flow. I do want to get through all these Venom hands. Yeah, Tuffy, these are very, very cool, man. And what's up, Languid? 안녕하세요. I feel like since you're doing some book learning today, I'll save the Korean for tomorrow. Oh, okay. Cheers, brother. Cheers. Yes, this is very, very cool, Tuffy. And when I was in Toronto living with John and Arlie during COVID, I really, when I was in Canada, actually, I did my most solver study and figured out how to use the solvers, and it's all about reverse engineering what the solver is telling you, like the output, what it's suggesting you to do. It's all about figuring out how to reverse engineer that. And it's like, okay, why are they saying that? And then once we figure out those variables, then that's when we can like be an artist. I feel like on the tables, an artist or a spew, you know, those words at times might be interchangeable. Yes, real crypto guru, I do. Yep. Just click the link there in the Twitch chat. Exclamation point GTO. All right, so let's see. Let's get to the next hand. Okay, 4 deuce offsuit, the giggity. Fold the giggity. Okay, we got a big hand here. We got ace king. And we got a raise from Triskel. And we 3-bet to 7.5. This seems just never flatting ace king. Let's just look though. I wonder if there's, I just don't think we ever want to flat ace king here, but let's just look here. Okay. So Professor says standard 3-bet size is 8, but he likes to size up deeper. I like that too. I like that as well. I think I go more than 3 in a cash game for sure. What position are they in here? They are hijack, raise, and we are cut off. Okay, so here's our strategy. So ace king off, see, I had this slight suspicion, man. Look at this, 100 big blinds deep. Ace king off does flat here sometimes. And I really just think this is one of those spots where probably just keep it in mind, but maybe just humanize this spot and just literally 3-bet it all the time. Or you could, if you look at it here, 25%, a quarter of the time, you can call ace king in this spot. I feel like, and Professor's right, as you can see here, the raise size is to 8 blinds, not 7.5. Theoretical, right? But I will say, quick side note on bet sizing, something I learned way back in the day on Poker X Factor training site, and I love it. I think it was one of the coolest and best things that I could have been told when I was learning poker, is thinking about your 3-bet sizings. Even if you don't know like a theoretical check raise size or a theoretical 3-bet size, look at your opponent's stack and think about what you're trying to accomplish. Think about when you 3-bet and there's like a player behind you, if you're not looking at their stack and you want to 3-bet but allow for them to go all in, let's say they have 20 big blinds, there's a cutoff open to 2 blinds, and then you are on the button, right? If you 3-bet to like 8 or 10 blinds, 4 or 5x for instance, and then the big blind has 20 blinds and they're seeing a 10 big blind 3-bet, how often are they going to get it in there light? You just kind of cut them off a bit. So you would want to maybe even 3-bet to 5 blinds instead of like a 6 or an 8, depending on, or a 6 or a 7, something a little bit more common. Well, let's say 5 or 6 more common these days. 3-bet size, but it's nice actually. 5 is kind of a cool 3-bet size if you really want to leave the illusion that you're going to fold when you have like aces, for instance. So I think catering and thinking about our 3-bet size is based on our opponent's stack or even our opponents behind the stack is like a very, very fun thing to look at. And, you know, sometimes we get busy, man, and then we're not paying attention to the details. It's like, oh, I blew that one. And, you know, that happens. Okay, let's see. Steve L wants to know, are we flatting ace king at shorter stack depths ever? That's a good question. Let's go ahead and take a look at that quick. And this session, I think my feel here early is that I'm going to be having questions with you guys. So I won't try to rip through the hands. Some might take longer. I'm more so here so we can have the discussion and try to like go on this study journey together, right? Okay, let's see. Are we flatting ace king off at shorter stack depths ever is the question. Let's take a look. Let's adjust this to 40 bigs. And then same situation, hijack raises, and then we are in the cutoff. And now you can see this green call has gone from 25%. If you look on the right over here, the ace king has gone from 25% call to 11% call. So the shorter we get, the more we want to be getting all in with ace king, right? This is 40 big blinds. You want to 3-bet and get in ace king with 40 big blinds because people will be getting it in lighter versus you on 40 big blinds. Whereas, you know, sometimes on the deeper stacks, if somebody's trying to get in 100 or 200 big blinds, those hands that they're going to have would be pretty strong. You know, you're not going to see like ace 10 off getting all in there. Whereas 40 bigs, maybe somebody will make a move like that. Okay, so good question. Good question, Steve L. And then if you want to just see for comparison at like 20 bigs, we're just getting it in. It actually switches the strategy here. The dark yellow is all in. So at 20 bigs, ace king off there, we're just shoving. So the stack depth matters so much. Let's look at 30. Probably just looking to get it in. Yeah, we're starting to shove ace king off in this situation. This one right here. Hijack open, we're sitting on the cutoff. Effective hijack open. Now we're starting to jam at 30 bigs. We're at 100 bigs, we're just never jamming, we're even considering calling, but as we get shallower, we're playing our hand more aggressively. So yeah, good question, Steve L. What's up, JR Betting? How's it going? All right, here we go. Let's see. So we 3-bet the ace king, we get a call. And we flop the top pair. Feels like a pretty normal, just third pot bet spot, and they fold. All right. Do we ever check back here? So actually, do you guys ever check back here for deception? I think we're a bit deep to do any checking back here, but on some shallower stack depths, I think it would be cool to check back here. You like the smaller bet, Professor? Okay, cool. Let's see if you guys ever have something that you think is like Professor here suggesting 20-25%. Let's take a look. So speak up, everyone in the chat, because if you guys have some thoughts or you think a spot might be different, I might casually go over it and just be fine with it. But if you want to see something, you have some thoughts, say something, because then we'll just go and look. It'll be super easy. Squand, should you ever show your cards if you don't need to? Only if you know why you're showing your cards and you're trying to accomplish something strategically with it within the game. Otherwise, I don't think there's any value to showing your cards. And for like casual and recreational players who show their cards, subconsciously, the reason that we all go through that stage is because we want to show our opponents, because we just don't show bluffs. The majority of people, when they're early playing poker and they show their hands, it's to show that they had it so that they don't encounter resistance later, because they thought of somebody playing back in poker, especially when you're earlier, can be quite anxiety filled, I feel like is how I would say it. So subconsciously, you know, we might show hands like, okay, don't mess with me, don't mess with me. But all you're doing is really giving away information, you know, and a lot of players are still gonna just play their hands. So I don't think that really accomplishes much. But there are times that I will show 1 card, 2 cards, whatever. Like there's many situations that could be a whole stream in itself. Okay, so let's check here what the sizing is in this situation. Okay, so what do we got? 3-bet pre. They raised, we re-raised. We gotta go back to 100 because we're deep in this example. And then the hijack calls. All right, the board is ace of hearts, jack of diamonds, 5 of clubs. The hijack checks to us. And then our strategy on ace jack 5 when we 3-bet pre and our opponent checks to us. Now for me, in my very simplified strategy, I have 2 bet sizes on the flop, a small one and a big one generally. I will have random half pots thrown in there depending on stack depth, but generally speaking, I'm gonna have a third and like 75%. So let's see here. So yeah, we click the third here. And let's see what the suggested sizings for ace king off here are. So you can see we're just not checking here this deep. Short stack though, to test a point that I made earlier. Shorter stacked when it's going to be easier to get all in with ace king on ace jack 5. I think that the solver will start suggesting some checking with ace king in this situation. But deep stacked, we have to bet, because if we're going to get it all in versus worse hands, get max value, we need to bet the flop in position. So actually real quick, let me see what this shows for ace king off, calling or checking this flop on 20 bigs. Let's see. We got this 20 bigs. Oh, because they're not going to have ace king here. Hang on, I got to go like 30. Okay, so actually no checking at 30. Let me see. Yeah, no checking at 30. Let's see at 40. There may just be no checking on this flop ever. Though when we get shorter, if we happen to like, so for instance, they're having ace king off just jam on 20 bigs. So we're not getting an output for that. Okay, let me see. Yes, JR betting. That's exactly it. Leading into WSOP prep streams here. What's up, Booster? Thanks for the positive energy. Over aggressive fish. Thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate it. Pretending to work on your game a bit. Me too, man. Welcome to the club. You've come to the right place. What's up, Mr. Poker? How are you? Okay, let's see here. I want to see the suited. I don't think I looked at suited on 20. Yeah, see, so I guess it's just getting in. There's no output for this because it's just getting in. Let's see if 25 has some ace king in there, or if they're just getting that in. Okay, ace king suited. Yeah, no checking here either. But you know what, man? I'll be completely honest. We're not seeing any checking with the ace king on this ace jack 5. But if I have 20 bigs here and I see my, let's say my opponent has 20 bigs and I flop this big. If I think that me checking back flop will get my opponent's chips more often than not, maybe even I have my HUD stats, I pull up and their folded flop c-bet is 80%, but their lead on turn versus check is 80%. Like, just looking at those numbers, which would you rather? Would you rather risk betting flop if they fold 80% of the time? Or check back flop, risk losing value because you know this person's going to fire out with just anything on the turn if you check. You know, and on 20 big blinds, you could still check flop and get it all in by the river. So I think that's an important box to check off. But even though this isn't like a check, like theoretically ever, with ace king on this type of board, suited or not, I still like the idea of checking, honestly, in some situations. You know? Yeah, that's true. Till happens. So till happens makes an important point as we're studying here. He says no checking because GTO Wizard doesn't exploit. And so GTO Wizard is, you know, math, all these solvers. It's like math and variables. Variables within an equation that leads to an output. Okay, so as we're looking at what it's telling us to do, there are numbers that are being crunched, and they're also assuming that our opponents are going to play a theory-based game as well. You know, no emotions involved. So the outputs that we're going to see are based on that. But if we were to adjust the way our opponents play and assume that they're not playing theoretically sound, then our outputs would be different on the solver here. So me checking is definitely an exploit based on how I think opponents may be playing. Do you see what I'm saying? So the study sessions, this is why poker's so cool, man, because you could play it so many different ways. You could play it for so many different reasons. And I'm definitely to the point where I like to do stuff that like deviates, and I understand how the equation works. So you could really just be super creative with stuff. And yeah, I still would like be checking here sometimes. Not at 150 big blinds effective though. But that's a good point. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because I know if anyone out there happens to be like a live player, and this is maybe one of the few times you've been introduced to like theory and solvers and study, coming from being a live player to learning theory or even playing online, the game's just different. You know, players are going to be thinking differently, processing differently. You're going to see some massive things that you could change in your game, but also some of the things you're doing and you learn playing live could be quite impactful, and things that online players won't pick up on, and edges they won't have for a while unless they're paying attention. All right, so we have the ace jack offsuit. This is probably pretty aggressive. I like it. Are you guys 3-betting here? Ace jack offsuit versus under the gun open this deep. Okay, let's see. All right, we get called twice with the ace jack off. Let's see how this one plays out, and then we'll go back. Let's take a different approach to looking at this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so check this out. So we raise the under the gun, big blind calls, and under the gun just calls. All right, so under the gun here does not have aces or kings. When they just call here, they don't have their strongest hands. So check, and then now there's a lead here. The aggressive side of me wanted to raise. I think if we raise here and make it 22, then that's going to look super strong. To this opponent, we're going to get them out of here. We're going to get them to fold like a queen and an 8 a lot if we make the raise here. And this lead, you know what I mean? This lead is very sus. This is not a board. Well, actually, I'm assuming this is not a board that gets let out a lot, though I have not studied these three-way situations in IA solver or theory-wise. But from what I've been told, we're supposed to generally play tighter in multi-way situations, which seems like a pretty sick reason to exploit that, right? But yeah, I think this is going to be a mix here. We're this deep. I'm definitely at least calling, but I really like the idea of raising here. So call, check, and then they bet again. Now this I feel like is super strong. Betting again into 2 opponents. And part of me, man, on stream when I was going through this hand, I was like, gosh, I just want to be aggressive and make this like 40 here. But then I'm just like kind of doing something I don't need to do at this point. Once they've shown a lot of strength. What am I going to get to fold here that double barrels into 2 players like this super deep? So we did find the fold. This player calls, check, and then they bet. This is really, I'm not sure what this player has. That now they bet the river here, right? I'm really not sure what they have, because backdoor clubs got there, 10 got there. Did they donk lead flop with king 10? Bet, block bet, turn, because they did bet turn like a third, right? Yeah. Oh. They did bet turn a third. So maybe king 10 makes some sense, even though they led flop. Maybe they're leading flop as well. Maybe they have suited here. They could have king 10 of clubs. But it's not common that players are going to be leading out here. Live players would lead out here with top pair. So king 10 I think makes the most sense. They bet here again on the river when it just gets as wet as possible. And then no call. Maybe Jack 10 suited. Jack 10 suited, yep. Jack 10 suited is fair too. I agree. Yeah. But that's, geez, man. That's it. Because, like, on this river, the reason we're just talking about the 10x that make it straight, 2 pair just not going to be getting that thin value in if they happen to have king, queen, king, jack. Just a lot of players here, when it's checked to them, if they happen to have a hand like that, they're just checking river, trying to get to showdown the majority of the time. Whereas this player continues. So, and for over half pot, this is like 3/4, 60%. So just like super strong. Ace 10 suited possibly. If it's spades, maybe clubs too. That might have continued to bet turn. Yeah, I think it could be spades or clubs. Ace 10 of clubs maybe is a bit more reasonable, but ace 10 offsuit, no, I don't think so. Maybe something that was suited. What's up, Skater Die? How's it going tonight? Was good. Fold the 10-7, the 7-3 to queen 7. AC deuce C, gonna be defending big blind. 3 betting now, we're just defending. Too strong to fold. Okay, we check, face a half pot bet. And we're pretty deep. I think call is pretty normal. But man, if there's a sliver of reason, I feel like I want to raise here. I feel like players are over C betting, generally speaking. So I have a gut shot here. I could use it as insurance, or I could use it as the plan, check call. I like check raise, especially if I think players are over C betting. Then that just means they're gonna have to fold more when I raise. I like the idea of it, Professor. Let's see if it's a thing, though. I like the idea of it, but let's see if it's a thing. They're check raising here. It's just an exploit. So let's see here. What do we got? They are button, we are big blind. Button raise. Big blind. Oh wow, look at this. I'm not finding this one. Let's see. So, yeah, we moved it back to 100 big blinds. A button opens to 2.3 in the big blind. Okay, oh, never mind. I was looking at small blind. I was going to say it's folding ace X. I was on small blind. Look at this. See, I was like, I'm not folding ace deuce, 100 plus bigs to a button open. I'm folding any ace. And I was on small blind. So, yeah, we're not folding any ace. But we could look at the concentration of raising. It's, when I see this one, I think of like a manta ray, or you can think of like a stealth bomber. So kind of like this area, you're going to see this pattern in a lot of studies here, where it's like the middling pairs up, your manta ray section. Going to be doing the stronger 3 betting, and then we got our random stuff. But the ace deuce off, pure call. But look at this, ace 4, ace 6 likes to do some raising. What's up, Ian Sheriffs? How's it going? Yeah, man. You are correct. Got to deviate, got to adjust, got to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. But check raise with backdoor draw, though. Yes, Sui. That is a good question. 100%. If we had something suited in this situation, we're definitely going to want to check raise that more. So let's look here. So I called in the big blind, and the flop came 10 of spades, 3 of diamonds, 5 of hearts. And then we are not leading out, all green. So big blind, we check. And then our opponent bets half pot. So we don't have that option on here. I'm gonna just pick the bigger, let me see, 3 point. Yeah, they went a little over half pot. This is closer to 3/4. Let's look at what most people will be betting here. Actually, let me see here what most people will be betting. What is the high frequency bet? So looking at this, our opponent's strategy, when they raise button and we check flop, our opponent's strategy is this. So it is a lot of betting, only 35% checking on this board. So the majority of our hands we should be betting here. And then it suggests a variety of sizes. So what I like to do here is just try to keep it as simple as possible, because I'm not going to remember to do this 14.5%, this 3.5%, do this 6.2. I'm just going to be looking for the highest frequency bet, and then know that, okay, if I want to get janky, I can. But the highest frequency bet here is a third pot to bet. And our opponent went half pot. So does it mean something? It doesn't have to. But just some food for thought. So now let's go ahead and see. We put them at bet 2 blinds. And then now this is our strategy in the big blind. And I had suggested I like the idea of a check raise, especially if I think my opponents are over c-betting. And then yes, Sui, let's see here. Well, if you're ever going to be check raising boards like this, you want to have that flush draw. And then you're going to generally continue when you pick up equity on the turn and shut down some of your bluffs if you don't pick up any equity. But let's see here with this ace 2 soft, because we know we defend it. So now our opponent bets, and the ace 2 soft likes some raising. Look at this, it's not all green. All right, now they got, it's suggesting I love that. That makes me so happy. The majority of it, though, as you can see, green is going to be doing some calling. Like, we're going to be calling the majority of the time here, 63%. But the highest frequency raise size that it likes is to 7.55. So about 3.5. Their 2 blind bet. We want to make it 7.5 blinds. So yeah, deep. I like it. But I'm glad to see the check raise. That's what we wanted to see here in this situation. Where are some of our other check raises? Now look, as far as the visual goes, we can, if we just draw this line from the pairs down, we do see that there is more raising suggested on our suited side. And that's going to be because of the backdoor flush possibilities. You could see just not too much going on this left offsuit side. So Sui, your question, do we want to be doing it with suited hands? Yes, for sure. Let's take a look at, and it's usually going to be like double backdoors basically if we're check raising here. So looking at the Jack 4 suited, this has the backdoor. So see, the Jack 4 clubs, we're just folding here, and we saw this example earlier because there's no club on the flop. We have no backdoor flush draw. But there is high suggestion for us to be raising Jack 4 suited. This is one of our, is this our biggest? Yeah, this looks like our, no, 6-4 suited is easy because you have open-ended. But as far as the double backdoor stuff, it looks like, yeah, it looks like of the double backdoor stuff, the solver here likes the Jack 4 suited the most. So who'd have thought on this board we're looking to check raise Jack 4 suited? All the ones with the backdoor. So Jack 4 spades, Jack 4 diamonds, Jack 4 hearts. Okay, I dig it. That makes sense. And then the Jack 4 clubs we just throw away because we have no backdoor flush draw. We don't even play it. We just get out of the way. So good question, Sui. Yes. Yep. Good point by Professor Grind. Says think the size of his c-bet is the biggest factor in check raising. And he's right. The bigger somebody bets, like if they bet pot or 1.5x pot, the amount of times we will be check raising in a situation just goes down drastically. And that's like a exaggerated example. But let's see here. So we see our strategy versus a 2 blind bet into this 6 blind pot. But let's see what our strategy looks like. So stare at this section here visually, and then let's see how it changes together. I'm going to change their bet size to 4 blinds instead of their c-bet being 2 blinds. Okay, now look, much less check raising and much more folding. See the blue now concentration that we have over here and the blue concentration over here? There's way more blue and passive play going on versus a bigger sizing. So Professor is 100% correct. Look at that. That's 2 blinds. This is 4 blinds c-bet. All right, this player actually chose in between there, 3.5, so closer to 4 blinds in this situation. All right, and yeah, this is very cool to see. You could see the red, the warmer colors, as they disappear and more blue comes, it's due to the c-bet sizing. So that plays, that, as we can see, is a major variable in this equation, right? But yeah, let's see. Jack 4 suited now doesn't want to do any calling. Well, it was doing mostly raising, but now we're doing a lot more folding versus the sizing. Supposed to. I still want to find that check raise. I don't even know what I did here, even if we're facing a bigger c-bet size. Yes, let's go. We found the low frequency, baby. Or actually, this is what is this? Oh, versus the 4 blind bet specifically, though. This ace deuce off. We're not folding. We are still being aggressive versus the 4 blind. So this is our hand specific. The ace deuce off. Let's change it between 2 blinds and 4 blinds. We're still actually check raising this ace deuce off. The same frequency, it looks like, but different sizes. All right, cool. And we found it. We found the, well, I check raised big. Actually, let me look at my check raise sizing with the specific combo, the ace of diamonds, 2 of clubs, ace of diamonds, 2 of clubs right here. So I made it 13.75 high frequency check raise size that they suggest. So on this right side here is the percentage, and then this is the amount of big blinds. And here's the scenario. Actually, this is inaccurate. This is the real scenario, but this output here that we are seeing is based off of a 4 blind c-bet. And yeah, so let's see, versus a, so yeah, I went like 13, the high frequency is 12. So I'm ballpark here with this. And my opponent folds. Yes, desired result achieved. All right. Ooh, what do you guys like here? I think there was a, I even thought about it in real time. So you got an open and middle position, cut off and button flat. I definitely for a second thought about just calling here. But ace queen here out of position. I mean, I could keep the pot small, we're super deep, and I could kind of play a small pot safer type of vibe here. I don't hate it, but I think that, again, I want to lean towards the aggressive lines, because when we just pick up this pot and nobody calls, I think it's amazing. Like, I love the idea of that result more than, let me keep the pot small here. But let's see. Let's take a look what is going to be suggested. So what do we got? We have a low jack open. Oh, actually, this is too many people. I don't think we'll be able to see an output for this. Okay, we actually do get an output for this, so check it out. Skin or die, yeah. Probably pure, suited and offsuit. Sui says raise to 12 or 13. Okay, so let's take a look at this situation. And this is what is suggested to us in the small blind. No calling. We're either folding or we are raising. We are raising the ace queen offsuit, and it's very simple. I mean, the king queen off is like mostly folding, but likes to raise a little bit, and then the queen 10 suited mostly likes to raise, but folds some, right? Like these things here, we could just, in my opinion, just humanize it and just be like, okay, I'm just going to not play the king queen offsuit. I'll always play the queen 10 suited. So we swap this little red from there over to here. Like, okay, I'll just fold the king queen offsuit in this situation, and then we could just call the sevens, right? These players are deep. So here's our strategy. No calling though. No calling, even though admittedly, like I said, I did consider calling and keeping the pot small here just to manage the situation. Then I snapped to my senses. Oh, the suggested sizing here as well is 13 blinds for the raise, like you said, Sui. So very nice. I went 15 though. Simplify your life, man. Yes, please. And you know what? If I make it if theory is like 13 here and I make it 15, and I think that 15 is going to get more folds, and that's what I aspire to get here, right? Like, I really don't think we're like sacrificing too much, but we're affecting folding frequency so much more than the EV that we might be losing because we're not like perfectly on 13 blinds. I don't know. That's my thoughts. That's my, like, I feel like I got old man thoughts in poker, Alexa. Out of position. Yep. Out of position matters for that sizing as well. And deeper stacked. Yep. I totally agree. Yeah, because once we're shorter stacked, we definitely have, there's like a wall that's in sight where we can very clearly go choose too big of a sizing because we're that much closer to players' leverage point, meaning you place a bet or a 3-bet that puts your opponent to a decision and they're starting to think about having to go all in or not, right? That thought starts to come in players' head. That's the leverage point. So we raised the ace-3 off here. You know what's funny? In real time, I remembered I'm going to get 3-bet here. And this is... Okay, so this is... I'm going to bet that this is not a thing in theory. Me 4-betting the ace-3 offsuit here. But I will tell you just legit what I was thinking in real time. I probably did on stream anyway. It's just like I just want to err on being aggressive. I'm hoping I kind of want to early, especially in a big tournament like this. I feel like a live player in that I want to set the tone for the table. This is relatively early. I'm going to, I don't like being the, I like being this guy who's applying the pressure and in charge versus just calling and going or folding and then letting somebody get momentum. I want to be the person getting momentum if possible. And we're deep stacking a Venom. I think people are going to lean towards thinking players are not taking that mental approach. So I think it leaves more room for us to do it. That's my thoughts anyway. So this is, let's go ahead and just look at this hand from the beginning. Should we be opening this hand? What are some questions we can have here? Should we be opening this hand? Should we be folding to the 3-bet here? Should we be 4-betting? And I just don't think we should be 4-betting, like theoretically. But I gave you my reasoning for do it, so let's for doing it. So let's see. Okay, so we got cutoff open. And button tree bet. And then what is our reaction in the cutoff? Okay, so as I suspected, we shouldn't even be opening this weak ace-x in the cutoff. Button, it becomes more of a thing, but cutoff, yeah. So the reason I know that is because it's not showing an output here for us in the cutoff. So it just like doesn't even want us to be opening here. So I guess we'll have to pretend we have ace-5 offsuit here, which wants to mostly fold in this situation and see how it responds, and then we'll like transfer that to this ace-3 and see if we, well actually, oh no, we're looking at it, duh. It's just folds. Like our 4-bets are not coming from the ace-3 offsuit here. Our 4-bets in this situation are coming from the middling suited aces. Look at this, the big boy in town here, the king-9 suited. And then the jack-9 suited, the 10-9 suited. So the Niners family here. Doing a bit of the c-betting, or 4-betting. We got the king-10 suited, the jack-10 suited. And we're folding a lot of the offsuit stuff. And then 4-betting, I like this. I'm gonna find this one. I'm probably just gonna always use this one as a 4-bet. Unless some situation, I know it's open, but I'll just be taking every opportunity I can to 4-bet. Ace queen off, king queen off sometimes. Of course, our big hands here in a late position battle, we want to 4-bet. Try to get some chips into the middle. Look at this, 100 bigs. Ace king offsuit wants us to just go all in a percentage of the time. You see this orange here, this heavy orange? All in 100 blinds. And then on the right here, you can see just all the offsuit ace kings. Don't mind 4-bet jamming all in for 100 big blinds. We have 153 blinds in this example, but we're studying 100 big blinds. So that's why I'm saying that. Deep stacked. I'm probably not finding this jam, even though I know about it. Because look at this strategy. It's ace-king offsuit and then a sliver of jacks. You're just not balanced. You know, when you jam there, you just have, especially if it's like a live tournament and somebody 4-bet jams 100 big blinds, they just have ace-king. Like, that's it. No one would ever just jam 100 big blinds with aces and kings. That's a lie. That's a lie. I've seen some people do it because they think it looks weak, and it's sacrificing a lot. You could win so much more chips by not jamming aces, but some players will do that. And some other pairs, like live players specifically, because they just rather not deal with it. There's still some newer poker player mindset of I'd rather win a small pot with aces than lose a big one. So some players will actually jam 100 big blinds here with like aces and kings, but primarily I think we're only going to see that live. So maybe that'll be useful for the 2024 summer here if you put that in your mind, but don't put it too far in your mind. Put it in the distant, like far back, if you just, you know, having a fun conversation. I've seen it for sure, but you just can't balance this jamming 100 big blinds, you know. So another point talking about making this simpler or humanizing it, I'm just not going to be jamming anything for 100 big blinds, 4-bet jamming in this scenario. Skater Die says, I don't mind stacking off ace king 100 bigs. Yeah, I mean, you look, theoretically, we pointed that out. You can just jam 100 bigs with ace king if you want, but our goal is still to get in the 100 bigs, but not via jamming. Our goal is not all in 4-betting to try to get it in with aces, ace king, kings, queens, because we're not 4-betting these hands to fold. I wonder if we ever 4-bet jacks to fold. I wouldn't see these slivers here, these 9s and 10s and jacks, since they're not full frequency. You can see this box is full. This is not all in 4-betting. And these hands were just not 4-betting to ever fold. But since there's some calling with jacks here, we might be 4-betting jacks, 10s, and 9s here sometimes to fold to a 5-bet. Let me see, actually. Let's look at it. So here, let's say we 4-bet and our opponent re-raises to 35. Okay, no, that just wants us to call here at 100. Okay, so we're not actually going to be 4-betting to fold really anything. It looks like if we visually look at this 9s through 6s, for instance, it looks like our 4-bet is, when we 4-bet, we're calling to the non-all-in. Let me see. Yeah, the 4-bet, when we 4-bet, these pinks, watch this, these pinks right here in this section are going to be replaced by green when they 5-bet us. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, I messed it up. So we raise. Okay, here. What's up, Catmandu? How's it going today? Oh, here. Okay, I see. I messed up. Yep. I guess the button. So I had 2 clicks there. Okay, yeah, we're just calling. There we go. All right. So we do have the 4-bet folds here. The King X suited, King Queen, Ace Jack, King Jack, Ace 10 off. So here's the blues are 4-bet folds in this situation. But yeah, I was 4-bet folding here. But we didn't have to worry about it. The old 6-bet jam with ace-5 suited. Actually, hang on a second. Let me see here. Yeah. You gotta love it, right? See this? So the ace-5 suited wants to 6-bet jam in this late position battle. 40% of the time. Ace-4 suited's in there. The medium suited aces, blocking them having aces, strong ace-x, like ace-king offsuits. And then, yeah, our obvious ones that we're getting. Ooh, flatting aces here instead of 6-betting. I like it. 50% of the time. All right, let's see what's next. Hey, welcome back, Umla. Thank you for the 37 months, buddy. How's your night going? We're just over here studying, doing some WSOP prep. Trying to be an artist on the tables. Okay, so king jack suited, we raise, there's a call, and there's a squeeze. We're deep, and man, I want a 4-bet here. I don't know what I did. It looks really strong. I felt like for how aggressive I was leading up to this point, me 4-betting here was gonna be too easy to just, this dude can't have it in 5-bet. And also they're 3-betting versus my +1 open from the small blind. So I was like, the range of hands they should have here should be stronger. So maybe I don't want to attack that range. But now that we're looking at it, I'm kind of curious. Let's see. What do you? I think the theoretical play here is just going to be to fold at the stack depth, player behind. But man, how strong does it look when I make it 24 blinds here? Right? Let me see. I'm going to plug this one in. What do you guys think? So we raise +1. Get a call. And then it gets to small blind. All right, let's see. So my question, what I'm curious about is if king jack suited, I feel like it's not going to be calling. I like the idea of 4-betting, but I wouldn't be surprised to see mostly fold and some calling and probably no 4-betting, even though I really want to see the 4-bet. Does the solver account for multi-way out of position versus one opponent, but in position versus squeezer? Hang on, let me read this again, Albert. Let's see here. So I guess this scenario, we're about to find out. So we have the under the gun 1 open, right? We see under the gun 1 open, next position call, small blind 3-bets. So that's what we're looking at here. So we got the raise, the call, and then small blind action. They make it 11.5. And then the big blind folds, and then it's back on us. So we do have an output for this. And it likes to call king jack suited, man, because we're deep. I don't love call. I don't love call. So we do have the frequency of folding and a sliver of raising. A sliver, man, with this king jack suited. It likes the raise 3.5% of the time. That makes me happy. That makes me happy because now I could increase that 3.5% in my brain if I think that somebody's being more aggressive from the small blind. And we're going to get more folds because this output would change if we thought we were getting more folds. But this 4-bet to 3.5 is based off of it's super small because the range that we're going to be up against in this scenario, 3-betting us from the small blind to our earliest position open is going to be relatively strong. But I am happy to see the frequency of raising and the calling. I didn't love calling, but the high frequency play here with the king jack suited is call. When it has blue, it means it's indifferent and should likely be fold. Yeah. Indifferent to calling, or Professor, are you saying it's indifferent to calling versus folding? So it'll just output fold? I guess it has to have folds, right? It likes ace jack suited here more. Or is it? Yeah, so that's a good question. Let's see what our 4-bets are because we want to know what we can 4-bet with here. So let's look at the red and orange. So we've got the ace-5 suited. Wants to 4-bet here 11% of the time. We got a sliver of the ace-10 suited, but our high frequency for betting here is the ace-jack suited, king-queen suited, ace-king suited aces. So it's a very limited range. So very nutty range. King-queen suited, ace-5 suited in there to balance things out. Oh no, it just wants to jam, huh? Kings and aces, it just, or kings and ace-king off, it just wants to jam. For 100 big blinds. So I get the ace-king off. We looked at that. This is just a slightly different scenario. The kings likes the jam. I guess it balances our jamming range, huh? Balances our jamming range, so it's not just ace-king. I kind of don't hate it. Ace-king suited likes the jam too. Aces does not like jamming in this scenario. Okay. But king-jack suited, sliver is in there for the 4-bet. Otherwise, it likes to call. I think I chose fold here, if I remember correctly. Yeah. It folds. What is it like folding? 38% of the time. Feels fine. Feels fine. All right, so we're gonna just continue forward. 7-5 suited. Give me a reason. Oh, this one might have got me in trouble. Let's look at this. Let's see if we have an output for this, because multi-way, again, general rule of thumb, we're supposed to play tighter. I wonder how tight our calling range is here. If we're actually supposed to fade this with 7-5 suited. I feel like no, but I bet there's going to be some hands in here that we should not be calling. I think primarily the easiest ones that I think we're not going to be calling is like raggedy ace-x, because they play bad multi-ways. So I think we're going to see folding in my spot a lot from that. Let's get this typed in though. Okay, so raise and +1. And then fold, cut off, call, button cut, or no, small blind call. So here's the output for that. All right, so we are folding all the majority of our offsuit stuff in this scenario. Seven five suited, right? Thank goodness. At least, I like the idea of squeezing. I know it's super aggressive here, but I'm happy to see the 6-5 suited in here as a raise candidate in this scenario, because I love the idea, especially deep stacked, of like 3-betting this garbage down here. I really like it. I want some big pots with it. And I don't think the majority of people are doing it, so they're not going to start, you know, in a standard or a regs or a studied player's mindset. They're not going to be putting us on this stuff. Board comes low. I also like it because it protects us when we like have ace-king offsuit or whatever else we're squeezing there in that situation, and the board comes low. It's like they can't just say, oh, he never has that stuff. I do have that stuff. But I think that's partly why the 6-5 suited is in here, to help kind of balance that situation. It's the only thing down here, but I like the idea of it with like the 7-5 suited, the 6-4 suited. But our actual theoretical squeeze is here from the big blind with a raise, call, call. Our squeeze is going to be Jack-9 suited. So pretty, man. Let's go. Jack-10 suited, 10-9 suited. The Queen-10 suited, Ace-10, King-10 suited. Okay, so look at this. A lot of our squeezes here are going to come from the suited side because we're deep stacked. And it's nice, and we'll be able to play these post-flop. 10-9 suited. So not too much of the offsuit stuff. The king-queen off here, ace-queen off. Got to pump up. Okay, so let's see. Oh, thank goodness. Don't you dare fold, bro. But actually looking at this too, like we 8-4 suited, 9-5 suited, this stuff that is going to have a real hard time making straights. This is the suited stuff that we are not calling here for another one blind, essentially. So yeah, we need to be either the ace-x suited, king-x suited that can make strong flushes pretty much. And then otherwise, if we're not making straights, we're folding our suited stuff here and the majority of our offsuit stuff. All right, so call. Was this big hand or this is nothing? This is a nothing burger, right? Yeah. All right. Let's see. The old sixes. What happens here? Oh, I think I played this. Oh, I remember this hand. Watch this hand. So we got sixes here. And I bet a blind. Because this actually gets a lot of folds on these paired boards, especially ace-high boards. People don't want to get owned with the one blind bet or something. And then we decided to go big here. My thoughts in real time were, when I bet a blind, there's going to be hands that are going to just float me in position that have backdoor draws. And I'll be able to get them to fold and be able to move on with the hand. Also, Jack 10, Queen 10, Queen Jack are some hands that can just call flop. So those are the hands we're trying to get to fold here. Even though we do have the best hand, we're just going to be able to be bluffed off our hand on the river when we check here. And I also don't want to... We don't mind getting Queen 10, Queen Jack to fold, right? You remember this hand until it happens? Yeah. So then it gets to the river, and I was... Let me think. Was I shutting down? Yeah, I'm probably shutting down, and when I don't get a 6, I'm probably shutting down the majority of the time, but then looking to check call some of the Queen 10, Queen Jack that might have continued on the flop, maybe even some backdoor clubs. Decent amount of players are just going to be checking a king on the river when I do actually check here, and just betting their aces. Some weak ace-x players are also going to be just like checking there if they're a tighter player. So yeah. Let me see here. What's up, Mr. Poker? How's it going today? All right, so we hit, and then I went with... This is a situation when I triple and I fire the river. I feel like I have... A lot of players are folding a lot to that line, and I've bet bigger here in the past. So I decided to size down, but thinking if my opponent might have, like, should I, what I'm thinking here now is, and we're gonna look at this on GTO Wizard, what the output is, but what I'm thinking here is my mind in real time was like, I just generally get too many folds when I go big. So I decided to size down here to lock up another call from, try to get one more call from a King 10 suited, King Queen, right? Versus it being a situation where I bet 3 streets and the king just folds all the time. So I sized down for that. But I think the other side of that conversation is if they do have like an ace 3 suited or an ace 4 suited that doesn't really want to raise me at any point in this hand, if I go bigger, they're just not folding. So I'm missing value here when they do have some of those weaker ace-x, but I'm losing value when I bet too big versus some of those weaker king-x that would call a bet on the river. That's my thoughts. We ended up getting here and now targeting mostly like king-x, I think, with this sizing, because again, if they have ace-x, I think we should be going bigger and targeting that. So let's see what GTO Wizard has to say about this hand here. Let's start it back from the beginning. Okay. Hola, mi amigo. What's up there, Desi Maria? Hola, hola. Okay. What's up, Sick Nasty? What about the power jam? Let's see. We're going to find out now. Exclamation point GTO in the chat. You're watching on Twitch. Ghost, can you drop a link? Do you have that command on our YouTube yet? Can we drop that there as well? You can also go to betondrew.com and then click on the GTO Wizard button if you want to download. You get a 10% discount. And I will be doing 10 to 15 of these study streams leading up to the 2024 WSOP. So I will be here if you are looking to get better at poker, you want to start using the GTO Wizard, studying, seeing the charts, looking at how to play post-flop. I will be here to help you try to understand how to use this thing better, and I will be here on live stream, no delay like we're doing now. You can ask questions, we can study together. So that's going on. If you want to sign up to GTO Wizard, you go to betondrew.com, and then you see the W, the big W in the middle. You can click on that, and like I said, you get a 10% discount. Okay, so here we go. Let's see this line. So what did we have? We were hijack in this example. We raised, cutoff called, and then everyone else folded, and then we went to the flop. Ace, king, ace diamonds, king hearts, ace of clubs. All right, now We're in the hijack, so we're first to act. Here's our strategy. A lot of checking here. A lot of checking here, actually. I have 6s. Let's look at my specific hand. So it looks like it mostly wants to check, but it does do some betting. And when it does bet, we can look at my hand specifically. I have 6 of hearts, 6 of diamonds. When my hand here does bet, it likes mostly the 2.35 blinds into the 7 blind pot. So it likes the smaller sized bet. In this example, I went micro with 1 blind and we got called. So let's see how, so this hand plays out weird. So we're going to see what the output is here, specifically for 6s now. So let's say we take our 6s and we bet small on the flop. So we'll choose our smallest sizing here to get an idea. Cut off calls. The turn is the 9 of clubs. And then it wants us with our 6s. We do continue betting here sometimes. And when we do continue betting and we do not have a club, it looks like, yeah, when we want to bet, so let's just look at our high frequency here, actually. When we do bet the turn, it wants to go 6.5 into what we have here is 11. So it's leaning towards a half pot turn bet sizing. I chose 3/4, trying to get the, I was putting a little bit more emphasis on getting queen jack and jack 10 to fold. It looks like we can go half pot, and then it likes, it also seems to like 4 blinds, a 3rd pot as well. So it likes a 1/3 to a half. We went with 2/3. What's up, P-Wing? How's it going? All right, so let's see how this continues to play out. Let's go choose the half pot sizing. And then our opponent calls. We go to the river, 6 of spades. 6 of spades. All right, now let's look at our 6s, because our 6s do bet. And at this point, so we could see here, oh wow, it actually wants us to check the majority of the time. It doesn't even want us to bet here. But when it does want us to bet, so look at this. So looking at this, see this 1.6? It wants us to mostly check our 6s here. And the reason for that, where my thoughts are gonna go to, is the reason it wants us to check here on the river is because it wants jack 10 to bluff, it wants queen jack to bluff. It knows, or it's assuming that if they happen to have an ace X here, any sort of ace in their hand, that it's gonna be betting the river like all the time, which I already said, if you were listening, that I think there's a notable amount of players who are going to check their like ace 3s here suited, ace deuce suited, and just be happy with showdown, and they're not going to bet them. But I would bet that the solver here, with us checking, it's suggesting for us to check our made 6s full here on the river. It's because it's assuming our opponent's going to be bluffing all their missed and betting all their ace X. So that's cool to see. But in practice, I don't like the, I think we will make, now I'll say live poker specifically, I think we will make way more money capitalizing and doing the like over bet that it likes here and coolering the aces that aren't going to fold in this situation a lot of the time, versus risking how often they're going to actually check those hands that would just call 35 blinds. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's kind of my opinion and my vibe, specifically with live poker, but I see the theoretical reason for checking here now. And it's definitely not where my mind went first, but versus like good opponents and capable opponents that you think are going to play strong and theoretically sound, we should be checking the 6s here when we make our full house. Gotta let them bluff. Gotta let them bet that ace X and then be in a terrible spot when we jam river. So yeah, Skater Die, it's a trap. It's a trap. Solver likes a trap too. Proof is right here. So the King X tilt happens, I think, are for sure going to be checking behind, and we're actually going to see right now. To prove your point, I think the King X is definitely checking behind a lot of the time. And Goomla, yes, they didn't 3-bet pre-flop, so they really shouldn't have aces or kings here. So we're not like worried about those big hands. I, in real time, was not thinking that they just called my raise pre-flop, so I'm not giving them credit for aces, kings, ace, king. We're super deep. Those hands should be 3-betting like all the time. So yeah, I'm just like not worried about them beating us here. The worst case, I think, scenario for us here is that they had pocket nines. We bet a blind on the flop. Nines are going to call and float and see what happens. What's up, Brentbo? How's it going, brother? Good to see you. What's up, El Nino? Because I myself bet half pot, give them a shot to fire back. So that's maybe a smaller sizing, could look like a block bet with a king X or something, and can induce some raises. But theoretically, let's go back over here. Theoretically, are we doing in this situation any small betting? Blinds, or the pot is 24.8 blinds. And it likes a third pot more than this micro bet. And El Nino, the half pot bet, it likes that too. It primarily likes the overall strategy here for us, out of position, sizing, because El Nino says he likes half pot and give them room to fire back. And it's about half pot here, because this is a little bit more than half. 27% it likes to do that, and 36% likes to do a third. So it feels like you're pretty ballpark there with that El Nino. So let's see here. Now, what the question is my argument for not checking like all the time, like the sixes want to do here. My argument is that a lot of opponents are checking back king X like almost all the time and not even betting all their ace X. So I'm assuming for how often the solver wants us to check here, it's assuming that it has a good amount of king X betting and the ace X is always betting. Let's see if we're right. So we check. And then now this is going to answer the question. King X, it's assuming a lot of the ace X is betting and that some of the king X is betting. And now it is checking some weak ace X. Look, it's doing a notable visually. We see a notable amount of checking on the river from their weakest ace X, the ace 5 suited, the ace 4 suited, ace 3 suited, ace 2 suited, which is what I said. We mentioned that we thought that those hands by population would be checking. So it's cool to also see that in theory, it's assuming those hands are checking. And now that's also assuming that we're checking sixes though. So this is like so many levels, man. Because it's suggesting sixes to check, where I think a lot of players will just bet their sixes on the river, especially live poker. There's myself included. I wasn't even on it. There's so many players who are just not thinking to check when they bet flop, bet turn, and then make their full house on the river on this board. We're just not, I feel like it's just not ingrained in the majority of our subconsciouses, right? So very, very interesting. And now here, look, it's also checking back like any king X. It doesn't want to bet here in this scenario. So we were disproved here by the solver, which is very refreshing, and I'm happy to see it. But still, yeah, more combinations of the offsuit ace here and the suited ace hands are betting, which allows for us then to check and jam our sixes and get more chips in the pocket, super max value. So I think generally speaking, in this spot, if we're gonna make a decision between checking and betting, hopefully we know and can decide whether we think our opponent right here is an aggressive player or a passive player. And that can help us go one way or the other. But theoretically here, it wants us to check like all the time. What do you think, chat? You dig it? Hate it? Let's see, actually, what does it want us to do with our ace X on the river? Good question, Goomlaw. Our ace. Whoops. What happened? Ace of spades. So does it want us to check any of our aces? It wants us to check a little bit of the ace 8 suited and ace 7 suited. So it wants us to continue betting most of our aces. And then our bluffs here on the river. If we pretend we didn't hit this 6 and we were bluffing, what hands are we bluffing here? So we're gonna be flipping a coin here, bluffing our queen jack suited that we barrel and has missed now. Our queen 10 suited. Some of the hands that we're bluff catching, we should be bluffing on the river here. The queen jack suited, queen 10 suited, the jack 10 suited, these missed hands. The queen jack offsuit just wants to give up. Queen 10 offsuit, jack 10 offsuit just wants to give up. But it looks like it does want us to continue betting. Oh, so this is very interesting. Look at this. If you look at these colors, see this bigger sizing, the 14.5. So where we're at right now, we're deciding if we had an ace. Let me see if I can hide all these cards. Okay, here we go. So what we're deciding in this situation here, it wants us to check our sixes, but how often would it want us to check or how would it want us to play when we have an ace? And this is interesting. Look at this. And I'm just finding this out now. It wants us to bet small, 8.5 blinds or 30% with our smaller, weaker aces that we have here, but it wants us to bet bigger with our stronger aces that we arrive on the river with here. Generally speaking, because the aces is quads, but the trip aces, the bigger sizings from the stronger aces, and that's because that means that the worse aces can call us, and these ace 5 4 3 deuce suited wants to go a third pot, and I think the function of this is to block bet the river so we don't have to face a big bet if we check from the stronger ace X, as it would seem, because it's gonna, if we check to them, it looks like it's probably gonna want them to bet these hands bigger. So instead of having to face a bigger bet, we block bet with these lower ace X. And then if we have the stronger ace X, we want to bet bigger because we can get called by the lower ace X. So this is like in and out of position. Very cool, I think. And then you see here too, actually on the other side, ace queen wants to bet 14 blinds versus 8 blinds. Ace jack wants to bet that. And then it still wants some bigger betting from the stronger ace X over here. But you see even the ace 10 offsuit starts to shift down to a smaller sizing. And it looks like the aces, if we had quads here, knowing that they don't have an ace here. If we have aces, we have quads here. Majority of the time, we don't want to bet big here, like some of our other hands, because we just have the board crushed. They can only call with a king, pretty much, right? So I think that makes sense as well, trying to walk that one backwards. Cool. So good hand there. What do you guys think? But yeah, tilt happens. Do you like the logic? I like the logic between checking on the river, checking sixes to play a bigger pot versus the ace X that are never raising you, but they will bet. And it's tough to bet fold. I would say that the population of players will struggle more with bet folding river. When they choose to bet, it's going to be tougher from the fold. So we can even win a bigger pot there. Very, very cool spot, man. Very cool spot. Okay, let's continue on. So we bet, yeah, so we went with a no frequency bet sizing here pretty much, and they ended up holding. So I should have checked there. Should have checked there. They had queen, jack, jack 10. They missed. I needed to check there and have them bluff. They give up. It is what it is. But with our sixes here, should have checked. We learned something. Oh, I was going to say, I definitely want to play this hand. I like this one. All right, so we open the 10-7 suited. Ooh, I wonder if they're even going to have this in here. I would like to see how they play this post flop. I think I bet. Oh, I thought I was thinking in real time about this hand. I was like, I'm just going to keep betting. But we didn't have to, so we just get the fold there. Okay, all right, jack 9 suited. Something, the 3-bet. No, we don't do anything there. Versus under the gun. And 3-bet versus under the gun. King 3 off, get out of my face. King 7 off, get out of my face. All right. I do remember a spell here. Offsuit, queen 6 suited, we're defending. Jack 8 suited, give me a reason. Okay, let's check this one out. What do you guys, I think I call. I was between call or 3-bet, but since I had the button, I knew I would be last to act a lot of the time. This is a middle position open. Maybe there'll be less squeezing going on here. So I could usually just see a flop in position. I like the call, but this seems like a good one to peep out. as well. So what is this? Low jack open. We're on the buttons. Three bet seems gangster. I like it, man. I like it. Seriously. What did I go with? Call. Okay, let's take a look here. Jack 8 suited. Okay, it likes 3-betting. Cool. That's good for me to know. I need to add that in. It likes 3-betting Queen 8 suited. But I need to just go with it. I like any reason to be aggressive. But I did choose the high frequency call, but I like that we can, that it's very reasonable to be thinking about. Look at this, just if we kind of zoom back a little bit, the only hand here on our suited side that is we're playing all the time some sort of way does like 3-betting, except the ace-2 suited. It just wants us to call that all the time. And then the 8-6 suited, 9-7 suited, but whatever. The small pairs, but pretty much we could think about 3-betting anything here in this scenario, deep stacked on the button. Okay, cool. So Jack 8 suited, we can get in there with a 3-piece. Jack 8 call, Jack 9 suited, 3-bet. Actually, look at this, Albert. Actually likes 3-betting the Jack 8 suited more, slightly. I mean, this is like picking hairs. It's like the same, honestly. Yeah, same. Personally, would have thought about it and just fold. Yeah, look at this though. Goomla, just real quick. We shouldn't be thinking about folding Jack 8 suited here on the button. Right, full frequency play. Can still make straights and whatnot. Once we're starting to not be able to make straights, you can see we're starting to fold the suited stuff more. And then of course, as it's always going to be, we're going to be playing more hands on our suited side than our offsuit side. So a lot of our offsuit stuff, we should just be folding. So let's see here. So we're facing a small bet. This is a situation where we just can't fold. I like the idea of raising. I like the idea of raising here. We'll know what cards to continue with on the turn. Call seems fine. And then I like the idea of raising here again. What are stacked depths? I got 62. Call is probably fine as well. I want to see about my raises here. I got a bluff. What was my sizing? So I went with like 40%. So my goal here is not to get an ace to fold, because players will bet an ace twice and then just look to check call river. Easiest call of their lives. So when I bet here less than a half pot, I'm not trying to get an ace to fold. What I'm trying to get to fold, and the story I'm trying to tell, is that I have an ace and now I'm value betting maybe pocket 8s, pocket 10s might have, that like decided to bet twice for some reason. King X maybe, if it was like king, queen of spades, maybe folds here, but then they just got there. Majority of players probably just like check call that too. So really what I guess I'm trying to get to fold here is like a 7-10 suited, 7-8 suited, 6-8 suited, those types of hands. Maybe queen high, maybe queen 10. I'm trying to get to fold here. Jack 10, I'm trying to get to fold here. So I don't need to bet big to get those hands to fold. But I did want to still tell my story consistent to what sizing I would choose if I had an ace X to target a 9X to call, to target a king X to call. So I think I like this sizing, but let's see now, theoretically, what we're going to get. Okay, let's see here. So as played, button we called, and then we got some folds. And the board came 7 of spades, 6 of clubs, ace of spades. All right, and then the low jack bet, they went small size. And then our strategy, I called with the jack 8 suited. I want to see raising though. Ooh, it wants to fold. Except for the spades. That makes me so sad. Are you serious, Clark? Must be a product of it being an ace high board. And we have better call candidates. But man, we got the double back doors. I'm struggling to fold this flop, man. I'm thinking about raising this flop. Jeez. It wants us to fold. but raise our Jack 8 suited. Raise the Jack 8 suited some slivers. Mostly call when we have a flush draw. Dang, it wants us to fold this. Gosh, I don't know if I have it in me. I don't know if I have it in me. I just love the idea of that, especially too as an exploit. If we think our opponent, like let's say we had a bunch of stats on this player and they're just c-betting 80% of the time, I really like the idea of raise because they're just gonna be printing folds. This player doesn't c-bet a lot. Maybe if they're playing a bit more honest, I like more folding versus that range, especially if it's gonna be ace X heavy, a lot of aces that they're betting, right? So, but look at this, Jack 8 suited does have some raising, but it's the spades. It's the spades that's doing the raising here. So let's see, we did choose call in this scenario, and then turn was a 9 of hearts. Yeah, Gumla, you're on the same page, yeah. Okay, so let's see now the low jack. What did they do? They bet again. Now they bet again, a little over half pot, and we're like, this hand is folding flop, so we're gonna have to look at Jack 8 of spades and how it wants to proceed. I'm curious now. If we felt like we had a strong enough draw, like the Jack 8 of spades, I think we're just calling here. Now we pick up more equity, we're just never folding, right? So let's see, what sizing did they go with? They went with over, not quite that big. I'm gonna have to take 6.5. All right, so now our Jack 8 suited, just pure call, just 100% call. No mixing, no raising, nothing, super easy. Okay. So we did choose that. And then river, king of clubs. Now let's see, I chose to bluff here, by the way, got it done. But let's see what the suggested bluff sizing. If we arrive to this river with Jack 8 of spades, a hand that we should be calling here with. TRS, good to see you tonight, brother. Glad you're enjoying. So with Jack 8 of spades, let's see what sizing we should be choosing. I already told you what my pure thoughts were, but let's see what T1000 thinks. All right, and then now low jack. Oh wait, I gotta still call turn. And the river is king of clubs. Okay, now they check. Show me my bluffs. All right, Jack 8 suited, sexy, yes. We have to. We have Jack high. We need to get the queen highs to fold. We need to get the better Jack highs to fold. We need to get the small middling pairs that might have been barreling there to fold. So we just have to bet. So our Jack 8 of spades here is sizing. That's the question here. So roughly 27 blinds. There's 25 in our solve here. And I went a little under half pot. Felt functional and like it would accomplish what I was hoping to accomplish. Solver says high frequency 14.5, so a little over half pot it likes more. It does come close, it goes like a third pot. I went between a third and half pot, but it mostly likes a little over half pot. Okay, so maybe we, and you know what, in spots like this where it's call, this feels like one of those spots where the solver just knows what a lot. This is going to be more accurate, and there's not really going to be when it's like choosing a bet sizing to bluff on the river. It feels like it's going to be more accurate than, you know, some of the other things we were trying to manufacture and disprove or like sway away from. This feels like a spot where probably should lean towards this sizing to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish. Right? Like if we're going to get that true, let's say that we can get the queen highs and the jack highs and the sevens, the 7 and the 6 that they might have, or a 9 that they might have. If we can get those to fold like 100% of the time at like 55% or I mean 60% versus betting like this 40% that I have here, I would choose the 60%. Right, I would want to take my 100 and like fold and just be done with it, right? Like I'll just do it all the time. And this kind of feels like one of those spots, whereas, yeah, maybe I save a little bit by going 40%, but now my opponent calls 20% more of the time. Instead of folding 100%, now they're calling 20%, right? You know? So I think I should be bigger here. I think I should for sure be bigger and go a click over half pot, because I like half pot click for consistency, down, or half pot click up when I am choosing kind of around half pot. So half pot click up, invest a little bit more in the fold equity. Okay, I like that. What's up, Mike Wasowski? What's up, buddy? We're studying my Venom day 1A from the other day. Studying, having like open conversation, rambling with ourselves, thinking of reasons to like listen to the solver or not. It's pretty much what we're doing. I'm trying to get my thoughts in order. WSOP prep. What are you up to? All right, cool. What's up, chat revoked? Cheers, brother. Thanks for the good vibes. All right, very cool. So let's, oh, this is my Venom run. I said that, right? This is my day 1A from the Venom the other day. So we're just ripping through, having conversation, whatever comes to mind. But it's good to see you out there, buddy. When do you head out for, are you in Vegas? No, you're not in Vegas. How long are you out there for this summer? What are your plans? Defend versus... Oh, nice. I saw B Paris post about his series that's coming out on Strung Out. What's your site, Mike? StrungOutPoker.com, right? Okay, so we check, or we call pre, we hit a pair, continuing. I'm trying to remember this hand. I think I fold turn. Feels fine, especially versus under the gun, open and double barrel. Do you have any info on this player? One at showdown, what is it? Not betting river much. One at showdown, decent. Yeah, feels fine here. I don't think we need to use solve time on that. Ooh, okay. Let's go back here actually. Gumla says that they hate defending ace-8 off here. Let's look at it then. Let's see if you should hate it or shouldn't hate it as much as you are saying here. Let's take a look. Okay. Looking at 100 big blinds. Let's see, buddy. Let's connect with your feelings there and see if they're justified and if you can break away from them or if you should be calling. I feel confident in my game, heads up, defending, even though it is versus an under the gun range to defend the ace-8 off here. So let's see though what the suggestion is in the big blind. So yeah, you could see if you want a theoretical answer, we could fold our weakest ace-X in the big blind versus the under the gun open. Right now we're set to 100 big blinds effective, by the way. And then the ace-6 offsuit wants to randomly fold in here. I'd rather just fold like ace-4 and start at ace-5 offsuit and call ace-6 offsuit just to keep this easy. Like, oh no, I'm supposed to call ace-4, ace-5, fold ace-6 offsuit, call ace-7 offsuit. So yeah, so look at this, Gumla. It's cool. It's cool, man. Ace-5 offsuit, let's just say, call up. All the suited ace-X we're calling. A lot of the suited stuff. We got a little no man's land over here. The common no man's land here, we're just folding. But a lot of the other stuff, we got to get in there. Even look at this. This probably is not comfortable to defend as well. The 7-8 off, 6-8 off, 6-5 off. But in theory here, we could just be calling these hands for the extra blind and some. Well, the range here too isn't really that wide, but I feel your side of that, Gumla. As far as playing in the micros, their ranges are not as wide. This under the gun range isn't too wide that we're up against. It's got to be at least close to what people are opening in the micros. Unless you think players in the micros are opening super tight. I mean, I would actually assume in the micros that, I don't know how much of the majority, but I would assume the majority players' ranges are wider than they should be. So they might even be wider than this. This feels fair, honestly, given players that don't know how wide they should be opening or not, and then the spectrum, or over on the other side where players are playing too tight. This feels like a fair balance of what we could see is going to be happening from an under the gun opener. So I think you can be pretty confident with the ace-8. I agree with Mike too. Mike says it's more about player types than stakes. And in that statement, I feel like, which kind of connects to the stakes, but it's definitely more accurate in my opinion the way he's saying it, is maybe there's a saturation of weaker or this certain player type, a callie, wider raise player in the micro stakes, but they're also in the other stakes, but just at there's a different saturation of them. So I feel like that's kind of how I process, like, you know, what you guys are saying there. So yeah, you know, this under the gun opening range here. But yeah, good question, or good comment there, Goomla. That's fun to think about. Okay, so we looked at that. That conversation, man, about micros, playing in the micros, because it's different. It's definitely different. And I think that saturation of player types and the certain cap of player skill that is going to be in the micros, you're just not going to see that like extreme elite level poker player playing the micros, you know, because they've climbed stages. So there's a cap of the type of player types that you'll see in the micros, and there's a different saturation of player types that you'll see in the micros. But it doesn't. But then that saturation changes, I think, as you go higher, and then the cap is removed as you go up in buy-ins to you could be playing against some elite players. Oh, we got a hand here. What is this? Ace Queen, button open. This one's, wow. We're almost 2 hours in. Holy crap! I don't even think we got through like any of these hands. Everyone, have you been enjoying this study stream? Are you going to show up for the next one? If you're watching on YouTube and you are enjoying this study stream, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you're watching on Twitch and you haven't already hit the follow button, but you are enjoying, please don't forget to do that. And yeah, let me know if you guys like these, because like I said, I do plan to pump out more and continue to do these sessions in preparation of WSOP. And I also just think it's fun. I felt like streaming today and hanging out, but I wasn't really fully in the like play mode. Let's see here. So what do we got? Defend. Okay, we defend. I think this is like mostly a 3-bet, re-raise in this situation. But one idea I do kind of like is if we 3-bet them here, they're supposed to fold like their worst ace-x. So I kind of do like the idea of defending here and keeping their range wide, just defending my big blind. You know, I'm going to have a stronger ace-x, and, you know, maybe can win a pot versus their worst ace-x sometimes. Sometimes too, I'll be completely honest. I'm going to be completely honest here. If I don't want to use like brain capacity, it's much easier to just call here. And even if this is like a low frequency thing, it's easy to navigate post flop. I'm never folding to a c-bet when I just defend here. I'm just calling. We go to the turn. We're super deep. It is what it is. You know, that's like a very simple mindset. But sometimes I kind of want to be in that space personally. So if you connect with that, cool. If not, you know, cool. Dyersville, welcome back. Thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Look at big blind range here. Let's see what. All right, so let's look at the big blind range here. We have. Let's continue down Mike's route. All right, and then we are folding. And here's our big blind range. Okay, so we're calling everything no man's land, smaller no man's land. Don't play this stuff. It's doo-doo. Okay, so what did Mike say here? And GTO was, look at your 3-bet bluffs here versus 40 bigs. Okay. Okay, let's look at this spot at 40 bigs. We could take a look at that. We are deep in this example, but let's take a look at 40 bigs and then we'll go back to 100, which is our... Actually, let's look at this. I'm going to change this quick. Take a visual. Look at how much more raising is going on here in the big blind from 40 bigs. Look at all the pink. Take like a snapshot. You kind of see it. It's all over. It's noticeable. Now watch what happens when we go to 100 big blinds. The majority of the raising disappears. It shrinks up at 100 big blinds. It wants us to play more calls here. What's up, Spiritus? How's it going? Yeah, so this is probably what Mike is pointing out. Look at the difference in our strategy as we go from 100 big blinds to 40 big blinds. Now, snapshot yourself. What do you mean? The Shift Windows S. What does that do? I don't know what this does. Shift Windows S. What is this? Oh, you know what I usually do? Snipping tool. Oh, this is a cool thing just to know when I'm taking screenshots. Oh, so I can just pull it up to compare the two. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yep. Okay. Oh, that's cool. What is this again? Shift Windows S. Ooh, that's a really cool hotkey to know. Because when I was taking screenshots before, I had to like open snipping tool and everything. Yeah, that's sick. I just leveled up there. Okay, so let's look at this scenario. I called. We're deep. Ace queen off. Mostly call in this situation with some raising. But actually, I want to look at this now because stack depth matters. Ace queen off specifically. Let's see what we're looking at. 40. Okay, still kind of reacting the same from 40, but obviously you see at 40 our raising strategy. It's just so much more raising going on here. Yes, thank you, Ghost. If anybody out there, if you do not have GTO Wizard, like I said, I will be doing 10 to 15 more of these study streams. Make sure you're following me on socials. I'll post. I'm going to try to find a regular day of the week that you can count on to come. But if you're going to download, please use my link in the chat. And I will be here to help you try to understand how to use this program on an understandable level. I'm here to help. Any questions you might have, I'll do my best to help you. So this is like a nice time to get into this because you will have a guide. Whereas if you have to watch YouTube videos and like ask questions or go to training sites to try to figure out how to use this, how to think about using this, I'll be here to help you, okay? You can also go to betondrew.com and then click, if you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else, you can go to my website and then just click the GTO Wizard button right here located on my homepage to also download and support the stream. Okay, cool. So let's see here. Defend big blind. And like I said, I just don't call here this deep to ever fold flop, but they do check back. So let's look at as played, check, and they check again. And yeah, so this one, looking at it playing back, the real question here is as played, what do we think about my river sizing? When they check, I feel like they're gonna have a diamond that is just trying to get there a lot of the time. So my idea in real time was, all right, if they have a king, queen, a diamond, I just wanna get max value. If I'm ever bluffing here with a non-diamond hand, I really wanna impact their folding frequency. So I went with 1.5x, but is this a theoretically sound bet size here on the river? Let me see. Okay, so we have, what am I tripping? Button open. And then we just call big blind. Flop comes 6 of diamonds, 4 of spades, 8 of diamonds. And then it goes check, check. And the turn is 3 of diamonds. And then it goes check, check. And the river is jack of diamonds. So this is as played. I just defended big blind and checked all the way down to the river. I'm out of position, first to act. We made our nut flush. Do we check? I'm not thinking about checking here ever. So I'm only thinking about betting, like I said, and targeting the single diamonds that I think would play the way that they played. Let's see what the suggested sizing is here, though. I went 1.5x pot, and for us, ace, queen, specifically, I have ace of diamonds, queen of spades here, and it wants us to bet a third pot when we do bet. See this 55%? bet 2 blinds into the 6 big blind pot. But it wants to check 42% of the time. I am not confident. Personally, everyone, especially live poker, I'm not confident in people betting their diamonds on the river. I think live poker primarily, people are under betting rivers from what I've seen, especially if you're playing like a daily tournament, even big WSOP events. I feel like people are not properly value betting rivers, and we cannot rely on them betting and bluffing in the way that a solver is going to assume. So I get checking, and I will check sometimes versus certain players, but I feel like we got to lean towards betting. And gosh, I'm so sad they don't like big bet. 0.2. Show some love to the big bet, man. What are we bluffing here for this 9 blinds? Come on, where's our let's see this ace jack offsuit. Okay, so a hand like this. Oh wait, no, not ace jack offsuit. Maybe that's value betting sometimes. Gosh, it doesn't want to bluff. Let me see. I want to find my 9 blinds. So 10-9 off here. Here we go. This is showing some 9 blind betting, 21% with the 10-9. 10 of diamonds though. Is that a value bet or is that a bluff to get a queen of diamonds to fold? Sorry, they don't go for thin values. So generally betting is better than checking here. Okay, good. Glad to see your opinion on that one. Oh, click on the yellow box. Let me see. Professor. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, this is easier. So look. So here's our yellow box. Ah, we've learned another thing. So we click the yellow box looking for the bet 9. Bet 9 blinds. What that means is bet 9 blinds into the 6 blind pot, which is the sizing I went for on the river here. 1.5x pot. So we're looking what hands would like to do that. So, okay. So the king highs, maybe trying to get some ace X to fold. Yeah, king highs, king highs, king highs. Ace 8 with the diamond. Okay, look. So ace 8 with the diamond, it looks like it likes with the diamond. Okay, so it does like this 1.5x. But it doesn't like it as much with the ace queen. But it does have some 1.5x with the ace of diamond. Okay, that makes me feel better. But definitely not a lot at all. Okay, I actually feel a bit happier about that because less sad. Because man, I want to get that, man. I just feel like I'm thinking about when I'm bluffing here. The most efficient bluff to get like a weak diamond and stuff to fold, it just and like a jack when people just have like ace jack no diamond, it just feels like I really like 1.5x pot. So I'm glad to see it in as some value bets as well. Cool. Okay, they fold though. Yeah, you saved me going cross-eyed there, Professor. That one. You saw what was happening. You're like, you saw what was happening. Let me hook him up here. 2.6 raise. By the way, this is from our Venom day 180 the other day. All right, raise the jack 8 suited in the cutoff. Good. Bet. Give up. Anything special? No. Fold the offsuit. That's no man's land. I felt like players are definitely tighter or stronger, so I folded the king 9 off. This feels like an okay fold though. I actually just want to see though. 100 effective, yeah. I'm wondering the bottom there. I think I just have to raise king 10, right? Let's see, where are we? Hijack. So yeah, we just have to raise king 10. Okay, so I was good. I felt a little bit nitty folding, but I was like, okay, minding my line here of like raising and folding on the border because it was the Venom. And I definitely was giving credit to these players on the left. This player seemed capable. We got Ryan over here. Cameron, I don't know anything about them, but they definitely seemed capable. So I think kind of erring on the tighter side here felt like okay, though it did feel nitty at like, if I was in a $6 tournament, I'm probably just like raising this here. Need to be suited. Yeah, let's see the suited. Suited for sure, right? Yeah, easy suited. Okay, cool. I needed to justify that nitty feeling because I definitely get too wide in some spots. Oh, you would have raised Spirituous to 5 blinds? Yeah. And you know what? If you're at a weaker table, people are overfolding. You got a tight big blind. Nobody's 3-bet you yet. You have a big stack. There's players have like 20 blinds and you're approaching the bubble. Then, you know, yeah, I mean, it's just like borderline opening there. And I would expand. I would adjust this range in certain situations. I was just kind of making some examples there. But yeah, there's going to be scenarios where even though theoretically it says fold here, I'm just going, you have to adjust. This is based off how it thinks your opponents are going to play when you raise. Oh, that's okay, Spirituals. You bring up a good conversation, even though you're joking. Yeah, probably less spewing the later day ones, huh? Oh, this is probably wide. 5-7 suited. I like it though. What ended up happening with this pot? I'm not raising this and then folding this deep. So we call versus Ryan. I wanted to check raise this flop if you oversee that, but he did not. He checks, and then we decide to check again. He checks. I think I bluffed here, but I don't like it because his ace high is calling. Ryan knows I'm capable. His ace high is calling. His king queen, king jack suited that he has is just snapping me off. I think I just need to give up. Oh, okay. I thought I bet. He checks and he has ace high. Okay. Yeah. Part of me definitely wanted to bet here in real time. I have 7 high out of position, but I hated the river. I hated that an ace is just going to call me all day. Let's see though. I'm curious though now. Are we 100 effective? No. We are. Now that stacks are shallowing out a little bit, we can look at some examples differently. Let's look at this. What is it, 80? I almost feel like 100 is more efficient for our studying purposes, but let's just look here. So my under the gun. Where's the 7-5 suited? Get in there. Oh my gosh, it's not in there. It's not in there. 7-6 suited though. We knew it was wide. Oh, so pretty though. Okay, so we raised it. Let's pretend we have 7-6 suited for the sake of this example, because it's not going to. Let's just pretend 7-8 suited because I don't want to have trips in this hand. So let's see, we raised, and then so look at the 6-7 suited because there is raising from 6-7 suited. Ryan 3-bets us from hijack. Good smaller size. Then it gets back to us and let's see, 6-7 suited. Okay, yeah, cool. 6-7 suited, 7-8 suited. The hands that with these suited connectors that we do open in early position, when we're 3-bet this deep, we just call. Cool. So if 7-5 suited was in there, we'd be calling. All right, 6-3-3, and it checks down to the river. What I'm curious about is if I had the 7-8 suited here and it checks down to the river. On this board, does the solver want to try to bluff an ace-X or try to get like a queen high to fold here? Or does the solver just shut down with 7 high here? That is, oh, how did I just hide my cards like that? Weird. Okay, that's what I want to see, is if we're bluffing our like 8 highs here on the river. Okay, and under the gun we called. So let's put this in. Let's try to find an answer. 6 of diamonds, 3 of spades, 3 of clubbies, and then turn goes checkity check. And the turn is a 6 of clubbies. Oh, we'll have to go back to that, Mike. I know the low suited stuff when we get 3-bet deep, especially open early position, it's just like always wants us to call. But I'll probably get a little bit more fuzzy around the kind of the weakerish Broadway containing stuff that we would open there. We know the suited stuff we call more. Let's see. So, oh yeah, we check turn and then King of Hearts River. Want to see about the bluffing. All right, now we are out of position. This is the question. We're finally getting to the answer. If we had 8-7 suited here, the other ones contain 8-7 suited here, 8-9 suited, 9-10 suited. We get to the river. Are we going to try to bluff the ace highs, the queen highs? As played, let's see. All right. So we get to the river and our 7-8 suited. This is one specifically. And we're just pretending that we have 7-8 of diamonds here because we have 5-7 of diamonds. So bottom of our calling range, no pair basically in this scenario. And it wants to bluff small, interesting. Mostly wants to check, but when it wants to bluff, it wants to bluff. Okay, so here it wants us to bet 2 blinds into this like 18 blind pot. Now, I think we can only assume, I'm going to assume here that the function of this small bet is to get the jack highs and queen highs to fold, because this bet of 2 blinds into an 18 big blind pot is just never getting an ace to fold. So it seems like the solver is not investing too much in trying to get the ace highs to fold, which kind of leans me towards my check on this river, even though I wanted the bluff and we have 7 high. But so it seems like we're kind of on the same page here. It's going to be hard to get an ace to fold, so we're not going to focus on trying to get an ace to fold. We're just trying to get queen high and jack high to fold. And in order to do that, we can just bet small here on this river when we show up with one of our worst unpaired hands that we have here. Okay, I feel good about that. That seems to make sense. Yep. Spirituous, I think we're on the same page. And even the biggest sizing it likes is like a 1/3. It doesn't want to bet any bigger than that in this situation. I don't know how much I would invest in trying to get an ace to fold, but it's good to see this. So we're not just bluffing big in this river. We're just not. It's not a thing here. That's not the function. We're not getting the ace to fold. We're not getting the king to fold. I do like the idea of the small bet though. I really, really do, to get the jack high and the queen highs to fold. Investing in that scenario, the most likely scenario in hands that we can get to fold, 10 highs, 8 highs, 9 highs that might be out there. Like, we don't have to bet big to get those to fold. I love this actually. This is really good. 6 club didn't help any of us at all, so I would have shut down on the turn on a double paired board. I don't think many ace high will fold. Yeah, agreed. Totally agreed, Sui. Totally. Okay, very cool. Got the answer to our question. Don't need to bet big here at all. And then he checks. I wonder if ace highs, let me see here. I wonder if ace high actually ever tries to, this is another thing I'm thinking about. I wonder if we should be having ace high if it looks like maybe I have ace high. We're not getting a king to fold. We'd probably just take showdown. Not trying to bluff another ace high here, are we? If I ever have it. Let's just look. Under the gun checks, hijack. Question is, will this ace high ever want to bet here on the river? My mind likes to be open to it, but let's see if that's tripping. Ace king is value betting. Ace queen, look at this. So the ace queen offsuit is doing some betting here. And I have to, oh, this is amazing. So I have to, this is really gangster. Okay, so check this out. So Ryan checked in this situation, and I think for a lot of us, it will be easy to just check here in position with the ace high. And it's the high frequency play, just checking here 60% of the time with ace queen. But there's also a large suggestion when we do not block clubs, it looks like, mostly, to just shove this river 87% of the time for 72 blinds, just a huge overshove. So why would the solver suggest that? I'm glad we looked at this. Look at this, ace jack off. it wants to shove the river here 100% of the time with ace jack off when we don't have a club. This spot right here. So the question is, why? I'm glad we're looking at this now. We could have just like skimmed past this, but we shouldn't just be auto checking ace highs here, even though it's the high frequency play. We could just keep it simple. I'm just looking for spots to be aggressive and just thinking out loud. So now why? And what I'm going to assume is that the reason it wants to bet here big is kind of what I alluded to earlier, is to try to get other ace highs to fold. Try to get pocket twos to fold, or not pocket twos. Try to get like maybe a pocket fours out there to fold. That's trying to get the showdown. A pocket fives to fold. That's trying to get the showdown after just defending. Maybe a pocket sevens, even though sevens might start to become an easier call. Sevens, eights, and nines potentially that we have in the big blind. Because if we had a king, are we really jamming? So the story readers might not buy this jam here, but a lot of players too also just don't want to get owned. So this jam probably will get pairs to fold a lot because it's a 15 blind pot. Do you really want to risk 75 blinds? But I think that's the function of jamming these ace highs in this spot. What does ace five suited like to do? The ace five of clubs wants to bet 6.5 blinds. So this is part of where we're bluffing for a third. We're gonna have some ace high here that is investing a different amount to try to get other ace highs to fold. Jack nine suited here in position. Okay, well, no, our big question was the ace X. Let's see. So what are your thoughts here? Bets king high or worse on the flop though, so his range is dense with ace high specifically and slow played over pairs. Yes, I agree with that. I do like thinking about what Mike's saying here. The jack high and queen highs that we were talking about trying to get to fold with some betting earlier are likely betting the flop, just trying to take it down, whereas ace highs and king highs are going to be much more likely to seek showdown and try to get to the river and flip their cards up. So the king highs got there and the ace highs are chilling. He says, I think you're going to bluff in a spot like this. You have to bet the turn and the river and rep that you somehow have the board beat or sixes full. Yep, I agreed. Definitely to tell a good story for us to bluff here. We got to start on the turn. Jack highs, queen highs don't exist. Yep, I think that's fair because we were talking about the function of a small bet here to try to get those to fold, but I do believe that you're right, unless maybe they have... One thing I'll say, maybe the jack highs and queen highs do exist more when they have the backdoor flush draws on this flop, and maybe they want to try to get closer to that. Let's take a look here. If when the flop is checked, or if our opponent is checking any queen highs and jack highs on this flop, that is the question. Let's see. Okay, so are our opponents ever checking jack highs and queen highs? Because that's important to kind of analyzing that small river bluff sizing. Let's see if we can completely take that out. Check from us under the gun. And then let's look at our checks. Okay, so as I suspected, we do have some queen highs that are checking here on this flop, but the backdoor flush draws. We see queen jack suited. Well, actually queen jack suited. Oh, even queen. Oh, wow. Actually higher frequency of checking from queen jack of hearts. So they must assume some showdown value here with the queen highs. Let's go to the jack highs. Jack highs. Okay, so now jack highs with the backdoor flush draw are leaning towards checking flop more, and the jack nine suited wants to start bluffing more. Maybe if ever in the situation. Yeah, well, obviously checking 40, it's not just folding. But yeah. So the backdoor jack highs are checking more. I don't have any of the queen jack offsuit, king jack offsuit, but the queen high and the jack high is definitely the conversation here, especially thinking about when we're bluffing the river, trying to get those hands to fold. So they do have some, and they have some 10 highs as well. I have some 10 highs, jack highs, and queen highs that actually don't mind checking this flop. So that's good. That makes more sense to the logic, or I guess the numbers behind a 2-blind bet on this river that they suggested as a bluff with a hand similar to what we show up with on the river. Okay, so you're talking about population, right? Because that is, we did touch base on that a few times, so I think this is a good point. Though the solver is showing some checkbacks here, I agree with Mike in that I think a lot of players will lean towards betting those hands, not knowing theory, just trying to end the hand and be done with it there, knowing that it's much easier to know your ace highs and king highs have showdown value. You can check those down. You know, you can learn that early on in the GTO book as you're studying it and reading it. Whereas thinking about the backdoor flush draws and reasons to check, it's not going to be as much in people's mind, the majority of players. So yeah, I'm definitely there with that too. This is a complex game we play, isn't it? It's super fun though. Okay. Ooh, I think this is a tough spot. I think let's look at this. So I defend under the gun with the, oh, I know, it's crazy, right? And there's so many ways to think about the game, and it really is art. I think that that's fair to say, thinking about the game of poker. It is very much art because we have the math in front of us here being done for us in these solves, but we also have to think about the way that equation is formulated, and then based on the experiences we have, draw that in and make adjustments, and, you know, create the scenario, read the story. Like it's very, very cool. All right, so under the gun opens, we defend the ace 10 off, and then watch how this one plays out. So they go big bet on the flop, like 3/4, not folding. We call, check call turn. Relatively speaking, they size down a tiny bit here, it looks like. We call, the river comes in 9, and then they bet big. This sizing route that they took is kind of weird. Now that I'm looking at it, it feels bluffy because they go, let me get my, I love you too, buddy. Oh man, we're just out here playing some cards, right? Let me see this. So I'm actually curious now. They go 70. Okay, so this is 75%. It looks like they sized down on the turn though, right? Am I tripping? Oh wait, I'm already messing it up. Okay, hang on a second. I thought they went bigger flop, but now actually it was 75% on the turn, so this is going to be just like the same. Oh no, okay, so they sized up on the turn. So relative to the pot, they went 60 some percent. Then on the turn, they went 70 some percent. And then the river, I actually thought they went bet big, bet small, bet big, which is kind of like a weird line. That feels very bluffy, but it looks like relative to the pot, they actually went 65, 75, 71. So they did actually kind of like go small, big, smaller. It's kind of a weird, what's up, Mikey Cash? Good to see you. Sui, so the reason for call on the flop is because we're versus an under the gun range. So that means they're not going to have a lot of worse ace X that we're going to raise flop and get value from. So I think this is just, I'll even show you. I think this is just a pure call on the flop versus a 70% sizing. Because how often is like queen 10 or jack 10 or king jack going to be betting this big sizing? And I don't think often. So I think when they bet bigger here, they have like 7, 8 of hearts, or they have ace king, ace jack, ace queen. I think they have hands like that. So I don't think raising here is a good idea. But let's look. Let's run it. We're here. Let's see what's up, okay? But that's my thoughts. And we will see more. Let's adjust this. We're at 100 bigs. Let's take a look. Okay, ace, queen, and jack. So we wants to know about raising here. Under the gun raises, and then we call big blind. Jack of hearts, queen of clubs, ace of spades. And then we have no betting out here, just, this is not a board you lead on. Okay, so we just check here, the big blind. Our opponent goes for a bigger sizing. Their strategy is, there's no checking in our opponent's strategy here. There shouldn't be, all right? So they're just betting. Different sizings, as you can see. There's no green. Green is the passive check or call. And they went with like 60-70%. So let's look at, they went like 4 blinds, yeah. And so they did choose the high frequency sizing. Sorry. So let's go under the gun, bet 4 blinds. Now Sui wants to see with our ace-10 offsuit, why no raise on the flop? Let's see if solver likes raise at all. And so ace-10 offsuit, pure call, and I'm assuming it's for the reasons that I stated, where versus a strong under the gun opening range. It's not often. Let's even just look that like queen 10, queen, king 10, king jack, jack 10. It's not often those hands that are pair plus draw that we beat are betting flop. Let me see if what I said is accurate. Well, see, what I said actually is inaccurate because their strategy when they do bet here is all betting. But what is this? Small betting? So that disproves what the point I was trying to make. But they do bet small, a third with those hands. Potentially, it has to do with allowing themselves the option to check turn and realize equity. I think that could be a function of betting this, because I was trying to say. So now that actually goes to the point of, okay, maybe we can actually raise flop with our ace, our single pair ace X sometimes. But let me see if the solver does. Now, ace-10 suited, we do see some raising happening with the backdoor hearts. Even with the backdoor diamonds, we do see a sliver of raising to 15.85. So there is some raising, but I will say this. I think in this scenario where there's basically no raising except for top 2, ace-queen suited and ace-queen offsuit. And still that isn't even the majority of the time that they want us to do it. So with that said, I feel like to humanize this spot and keep it easy, we just can check call all of our single pair aces, ace X. Even if you think about some of the hands that they are betting that we could get value from worse, we have the 10 as well. So we don't mind like when they're queen 10 bets, because and we just call. We don't necessarily want to raise and get them to fold that because we have ace 10 as well. So some of the draws that their second pair draw hands they're betting, like we share the same draw. So I think it's just like call, single pair ace X, and you see just ace queen. Ace jack doesn't even want to raise. Look at this, ace jack, second top 2 on this board, theoretically does not want to raise here because we could be up against ace queen, we could be up against queens, jacks, aces. And yeah, so there's still like a lot of hands that can dominate us. Even the ace jack 2 pair doesn't want to raise. Ace queen a little bit more confident raising because now we could be up against ace jack. Cool. Oh, thank you Ghost for adding that command in YouTube, by the way. YouTubers, if I happen to miss any of you, I'm sorry, let me just check real quick. Make sure I didn't miss any YouTube chat. Oh gosh, my restream is so laggy looking at chat. Let me pull up chat on YouTube. Hang on one second. Because yeah, I can't see the chat there well. By the way, if you're on YouTube, you're watching, you're enjoying the stream, please do me a favor, hit the like button. I will be doing more of these sessions. Okay, I got the YouTube chat up. What's up there? Oh, Mike, you were on YouTube. Oh, I missed you, buddy. Cheers. What's up, Corey Weeks, Tobias, Scott? Nice. Let's go. Scott Wampler says, this is great. I'm using this to get ready for the WPT at Choctaw. Good. I'm glad to hear that. That's the main function of these study streams is WSOP 2024 prep. I am making differences in my thoughts between live and online, and we're seeing theoretically what it looks like, and then we're talking about how we could adjust. So I'm glad to hear that. Good luck, Tobias or Scott at WPT in Choctaw. Tobias wants to know, is GTO Wizard free? If not, how much does it cost? So I'm pretty sure you get a, I should know this. Let me go ahead and look. So the cost, so there's different price points for GTO Wizard. Oh, this is going to have me, let me see if I can see the pricing because I'm logged in. Hang on a second. So I think it's like 800 bucks for the year. Okay, here we go. I got the information for you. So there are different courses. They have Cash Game, which will have some deeper stacks. They have MTT, which will have shallower stacks. I'm on the MTT. Oh, I don't have the current one. I have more. Anyway, let's see. All right, here we go. So there is a free version. So if you want to check out the free version, go to my link, !GTO or GTOW in the YouTube chat and in the Twitch chat. You get 10% off for clicking on my link using the code. And then if you are not near the chats right now for whatever reason, you can go to betondrew.com. Scroll down on the homepage, you'll see the W here. It will take you to the site to sign up. But there is a free course and there's a starter and a premium, $69 per month. Or if you want to pay on a monthly 7-day refund guarantee. And then you can also buy for the year. So you'll see the options. If you plan on studying, you want to motivate yourself and save the most money. Again, because if you use my link, you get the 10% off your first purchase. So if you're really digging in, I suggest going for the yearly, like I have, because I know I'm going to be studying and using it from all over throughout the course of the year. You save the most there. If you don't want to invest I wish I knew the number, I'm sorry. It's like $600 to $800 for the year. You can pay on a monthly as well. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Let me see. Oh, okay. I was behind on chat. Okay, cool. So thank you for watching. Let's get back to it here. So mostly just calling here, Sui. With this hand, turn is a 3 of clubs, check, and then they bet a little over half pot. We call again, so let's check this out. Check, they bet that. We called, the turn was the 3 of clubs. And by the way, I folded this hand on the river. They raised under the gun, bet 3 streets, and then I folded the river. Okay, so I'm just assuming they're just super nutty here. And while I think some of the bluffs here are going to be like 4s and 5s, if they found it, good for them, honestly, because I think we're mostly versus just better hands here. But let's see if we ever do should be doing calling here. Okay, so I check, and they went with they went with the bigger sizing on the turn. Then let's just check our ace 10. I don't think we fold yet. We do not. Pure call. No raising on this turn. We call, and the river is 9 of diamonds. And then they go with over half pot again. No leading here. Unless we have queen jack off and some king X bluffs. We check. And then our opponent bets on the bigger side. They bet 27 and a 38. So let's see. Let's select 23. 23 is closer. I'm going to take bet 23, which is about 65% or so. And then now my strategy here, facing that bet, should I be calling the ace 10? I think we fold to exploit players being real value heavy on this river and them not thin value betting enough, the population of players. But should we be calling here sometimes? I don't think so, man, versus population. Maybe even theory is just going to be folding as well. Let's see. So the ace 10, it looks like if our opponent is bluffing the river enough, we should consider calling the river with our ace 10 off here. But the majority of the time with our ace 10 off, 58% of the time in this example here, we should be folding. The ace 9 is 2 pair, so that's calling. And the ace 8, why is the ace 8 calling more than the ace 10 off? And the answer there is because when we have the ace 10 off, it's less likely that they are bluffing with like queen 10, jack 10, 10 9, maybe 10 8. No, 10 8 suited is a straight. Maybe no, they're not opening 10 7 suited. But basically, we want them to have some more bluffs, and by having the 10, we fold more. But when we have the 8, we call more because they could have some of those 10x bluffs. Ace 7, you can see calling more than the ace 10. And then, yeah, calling more with this weak ace X stuff. So similar reason to, you know, we don't want to be blocking this. And they'll be bluffing some of their, maybe like 8, 9, right? So this same logic, why we're calling less with the ace 10, travels down. Let's see. But yeah, so we do have to do some calling here. But let's actually look, because I think our opponent betting 23, if we're calling there with the ace 10 off, sometimes on this river, where the majority of players, especially if you're playing like low stakes, micros, I just don't think players are going to be finding their bluffs here. Just fold versus the gun open and triple. But see, this is assuming that our opponent is finding the bluff and open the pocket twos under the gun. They want to bluff. They want pocket twos to just jam river and get you to fold. They want you to jam 81 blinds, a notable bit at the time. Threes wants to bluff river. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Some of these small pairs want to bluff the river on this run out. If they're finding it, good for them. But I still feel confident about my fold. Sixes is wanting to find the bluff as well when it doesn't contain a club, because it doesn't want us to. It wants us to have clubs that'll fold. 10-8 is value. Jack 10 wants to bluff. Jack 10 wants to jam. Wow, Solver, you sick. Wants us to jam 81 bigs into a 37 blind pot. 89% of the time with the Jack 10 suited. Blocking the nuts. Knowing that our opponent's going to have an ace high. So see, this is why we have to call ace 10 sometimes. Is versus a solver or an elite player who's going to find their bluff with the 10x containing hands, the Jack 10 suited, King 10 suited is a nut straight, but the Jack 10 suited, the 10-9 suited, 10-8 suited is a straight, but the Jack 10 suited, the 10-9 suited, the small pairs, the middling pair, 8s here that wants to bluff as well, blocking the 8-10 straight. If we're playing a competent opponent, then we do have to find the call here sometimes with the ace 10 offsuit, as we can see in this example. But if you think your opponent's playing straightforward, not finding those bluffs, then we just lean toward folding. Zigzag, wiggle waggle, right? I know, right? Tilt happens. I was hoping for a king as well. And considering Venom players wouldn't find the bluff either. Gumla, I think that if we were to make a just big assumption, I think Venom players on average are going to find this bluff more often than like a $6 player. So I think we should actually that way lean more towards that they're going to be capable of bluffing. And like fold this all the time in a 660. And maybe if we're just trying to keep things simple, if we look at stakes, you know, that way, just fold this all the time in the 660 maybe and just call it in these like higher buy-in events where on average players' skill level will be greater. So we did find the fold here. Solver plays like Spirituous, oh yeah? Nice. Okay, let me see here, what do we got? Gosh, man, how many? We have gone through no hands and we're 2.5 hours into the session. We've gone through like 10 hands. There was a flush hand I was curious about. I might skip through a couple here. There's this flush hand. I got flush over flush that I want to... Here it is. That I want to look at. We're multi-way though, so I won't be able to dig too deep. 8-9 suited versus the open here from 47 blinds. I didn't want to 3-bet and then face or squeeze here actually versus under the gun and them. I could get them to fold. Actually, I like the raise more, but I didn't like the Ryan raised under the gun, so I was happy being on the button and calling the 8-9 suited. We go to the flop. Ryan checks. This player bets small. I'm not folding. I flopped a flush draw, backdoor straight draw. I don't see any reason to raise, so I just called. Ryan called. We hit our flush. And then this player goes check, start value betting. They call, river comes at 3. I value bet again, and they check call, and they just have the queen high flush. I feel like their play was weird, multi-way to essentially on the flop. I think what they likely were thinking is they kind of want to set their own price on the flop to try to get to their draw. And then they go into this like trappy mode, which I don't think is a thing. But it did work out for them. I was a little sus betting the river, but man, did it feel nitty if I just check back this river on the off chance that somebody is playing a hand in a way that I don't assume a lot of players would play their hand. Like you bet the flop, you know, to set your price. They could have just taken me straight to Pound Town here if they just continued betting, but they decided to go into a check call mode and let me play my hand perfectly. I feel like if you're gonna lead the flop here, you just bet turn, bet river, and try to like super cooler hands like what I have. But I lost a lot of chips here, a notable amount. Let's look this one over. Let's pick it up from the... I'm gonna actually, I want to see this hand, though it does matter that Ryan's in it. Maybe the lead flop. Heads up is different, man. Heads up is different. Let me actually just, we're gonna start this from the turn, from the point that Ryan folds. Let's see. What are we effective here pre-flop? Okay, let's look at 60. Alright, so cutoff opens. Big flop button. Everyone else chickens out. Flop is a 7 of diamonds, king of hearts, 3 of hearts, and then they continue. Smaller than half. I call, and the turn is jack of hearts. You mean check river Gumla? Okay, yeah, let's see. When the board pairs by them or by us, let's see. Now the turn cut off. Let's see though here. What we want to see is right now we're at the point where we're on the turn. The jack of hearts has come in. It feels weird to me that the queen 10 after betting flop, queen 10 of hearts, which is what they have here, starts checking. I feel like they should be betting, but let's see what solver says. Queen 10 of hearts here, their specific hand, leaning towards betting and wanting to bet third pot again, the majority of their betting, but it is doing some checking. Let's see the other flushes. Queen 9 of hearts is leaning towards checking. Okay, so the decent amount of their, well, they don't have that one. Put king of hearts on flop. Queen 7 of hearts is small betting. It's checking a notable amount. The queen high hearts is checking a notable amount, but it's not the... Actually, who's this queen 9 of hearts? Is checking most of the time. Okay, so I think what we can gather from this here is that the hearts actually doesn't mind checking here as much as I thought. What's up, Almondron? How are you? And now we're analyzing this as if it was a heads up situation and they bet flop. It doesn't mind some hearts checking. Okay. So that is good for us to know. Let's check here now. I did check turn or the river, or we bet. I'm sorry, hang on a second. check, and then, oh, this is my button, okay. And then I bet about half pot. 8-9 suited. So I go back here. 8-9 suited in hearts. Wants to bet majority of the time. Good, thank goodness. Wants to go bigger than my half pot sizing mostly. Okay, so we should be going bigger. Now let's go. They call, and the river is 3 of diamonds. So board pairs, let's see what their flushy hands wants to do. Let's go back to the queen 10 suited in hearts, which is what they have. And it wants to bet, interesting enough, it wants to bet 10% pot. It wants to block this river the majority of the time, and then otherwise it wants to go a third pot. But it does not want to check here. Out of position. Let's see the queen 9 suited, queen 7 suited. Queen 7 suited wants to check. Queen 8 suited wants to check. The queen 10 suited though mostly wants to bet. So this is interesting. We're seeing a queen 9 suited is mixing. So we're seeing kind of nothing conclusive with the hearts. The thing that stands out the most to me is the block bet sizing by the weaker hearts here. But it's gotta be, it's just the stronger queen X, it looks like, that it wants to block bet size. 9-10 suited wants to block bet size. And then some of the worse queen 6 suited that they might have here wants to check a bit. So they do actually want to control the size of the pot here, out of position. So my gauge of the way they played their hand was a little off. But again, the example was a little bit different, and the fact that they took the lead after an under the gun open checked on this board is not really a thing in their situation, but I do need to calibrate a little bit in this spot. Now I wonder, when they check, how much I should be betting my 8-9 of hearts here. I mean, I can't see myself checking. Okay, no checking with my 8-9. So they just kind of ran into it there. We're just betting all the time, and it likes 20. Oh wow, it likes big. It likes 20 blinds into 25 blinds on the river. I went half pot. Yeah, I went half pot. So this is kind of fine all around, it seems. But they do have some queen X they're supposed to be checking here, but they're actually supposed to be playing their hand more bets based on what we're seeing. Though this does fall. This is categorizing it as some weak queen X, and some other flushes, some 10-9 of hearts are looking to check. So I do need to organize that. But yeah, so we lost a lot of chips there, but we played our hand fine from what it looks like, and our opponent played their hand fine from what it looks like. Just an unfortunate situation for us here, I think, mostly. Let's go to the next hand. Oops, we don't want to show all. Okay, let's look at a couple more hands here. I'm gonna try to rip through a little bit quicker. I had no idea how long the study sessions are gonna last, but right now, like, I'm pretty fresh and like really enjoying digging in. Coming up on 3 hours. Queen's raise gets through. My stack depth is shorter. I've changed my open sizing. 6-3 suited. Give me a reason. 6 suited. Call 3 bet. I don't think we ever fold here. Button cut off hijack 45. Let's just look over here. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Let's check all of our situations. Let's look at 40. Yeah, we're just not folding here. Button cut off hijack. We raise 2-point tree. Button 3 bets. And here's our response. So wow, we should be folding more on 40 here, huh? Hijack open. Button 3 bets us. Wow. Doesn't even want us to call ace-6 suited. Have you no spirit, solver? Oh my gosh. Get a grip. 50 bigs. Give me some hope. Oh my gosh. Really opening hijack versus button 3 bet. Wants us to play pretty tight. Wow, I'm way off on this one. Flatting, this felt like maybe borderline if anything, but I'm like just off. I don't like you anymore, solver. Okay. So let's see here. We just fold. Okay. I don't like you anymore. All right. 8-9 suited. Defend. Oh, pretty baby. Flop the flush. How did this one play out? Check. Small bet. Oh, yeah. I wanted to pump this up. I think we got to pump this up. I think this is just... We could start trapping like our ace-x flopped clubs here. Maybe jack-x. But I think these smaller ones, knowing they could have a jack clubs, 10 of clubs, ace of clubs, I think we need to be raising this a lot. Let's see how much though. I have this categorized in my mind. These smaller flushes is just check raises, and we can trap some of our stronger flushes that don't need protection. Okay, let's take a peek though at this one. What do we got? Hijack open. We are on 40 effective now, so let's go back to 40. Hijack raise, and now we are big blind. 8-9 suited. Ooh, likes to raisey daisy. Okay, I'm with it. I like that. Good to see. We did choose call in this example. The flop comes queen of clubs, king of clubs, 6 of clubs. The big blind check. No leading here. And they bet small size, 1.2 into 6.1. And then let's see our 8-9 suited. Okay, so I'm a bit off here. It looks like we are calling more so. Let me see at 40 bigs. Let's see how this changes at 100 for science. More calling, it looks like, but a variation of a raise sizes. More calling. Back to 40 bigs. From 80% call to 74% with just a smaller sizing. We don't have as much room to vary our sizing on 40 bigs. So we're just making it 5 something. I did choose the 5 something sizing. So we're on path with the right sizing. I'm a little... Let's see. But see, we're not doing any raising with the stronger clubs that when we flop the flush here. This is all just wanting to call. But the 8-9 suited... Where is it? It's raising. Not much, man. 26%. It's a quarter. It's a quarter. It's notable. Okay. So we're raising our 2 pair more though. Our biggest raises on this monotone flop are coming from, our biggest frequency raises are coming from the king queen top 2 pair, jack 9 with the club, jack of clubs. Okay, so we want to use the jack of clubs to bluff. Yep. Set of 6s we want to raise. Okay, so our sets we want to raise here. Do we have a set of queens? No, because we 3-bet queens and kings pre-flop. So our set of 6s though wants to raise all the time on this board. What is a 6-5 suited that wants to raise? It's like 2 pair blockers, set blocker. So yeah, it looks like the 6x when we're blocking some sets is where we're finding some bluffs. And then of course value with the pocket 6s. Queen 6, 2 pair. 2 pairs. So 2 pair and then some clubs, single clubs we're turning into a bluff. Let me see this 10-9 off. 10 of clubs, okay. 10 of clubs, jack of clubs. Raising for some potential value and as a bluff. Okay. Not too much raising though. Overall, we zoom back and we're not seeing too much raising. We're seeing a lot of folding. And then a lot of just calling with top pair. A lot of just calling with second pair. A lot of just calling with flopped nut flushes. A lot of just calling the second pair. Top pair, we could see right here in this column. Just a lot of calling top pair. Let's see. Ace of clubs, offsuit, just wants to try to realize equity. So when we have the ace of clubs here, not even doing much raising. We're just trying to call and get there. Okay, so I hit the 25%er. They end up folding. All right. All right, now let's see. Boom, boom, raise. Jack ace high showdown, bet river, fold. Could have turned my hand into a bluff, but I bet my flush draw on the flop. Fives, bet, fold. Where did it all go wrong? Oh, I remember. I think we manage this stack for a minute and then we get into that 10 spot. Raise 7-5 suited, too pretty. I made a loose call here. We gotta fold this. We're gonna fold this. Like, what are we raising on? 35 blinds. Hijack versus cutoff. Yeah, I made a loose call here. 35 blinds. Hijack. I open. They 3-bet. And 7-5 suited isn't even in there. Yeah, definitely loose by me. We're going to play a little bit tighter on these 30-ish, 40-ish than I might be being here. I'm being a little, because we go to 100 here. Probably have that 7-5 suited. I might have cash brain on. Okay, 7-6 suited. We do have some of this stuff. So maybe there's a little bit of, because I've been playing a lot more cash lately. I need to calibrate a little bit more towards tournaments here. This is like 35, 40. I just don't even have some of the. I'm opening 7-5 suited, 7-6 suited. Okay, no, we have the 7-6 suited here. 6-5 suited. Okay, 7-5 suited is their cousin. Come on, the cousin can come over and hang out and play, right? Like, show some love. The 4-5 suited is showing up to the party, but 7-5 suited got no invitation for the cookout. Like, what's going on here, right? I mean, it's got to be okay to invite the 7-5 suited. If the 8-6 suited is right next door, living right next door to the 7-5 suited. 8-6 suited comes out of the house, dressed up all nice. They're going to a barbecue. 7-5 suited looks out their window. Is like, oh, hey, where you going, 8-6 suited? I was like, oh, I'm going over to the party here, the cookout. Why aren't you coming? 7-5 suited is like, I don't know. I like to party. 7-5 suited got to fold. Right? Yeah, so but yeah, we gotta fold it to the 3-bet here, right? And it gets back to us in the hijack. 7-6 suited. Oh wait, let's see. Hijack, raise, cut off 3-bet back to us in the hijack. Oh, okay, no, we're continuing with the 8-6 suited. Sometimes folding mostly 8-6 suited because my 7-5 suited, I made a wide open, so I'm trying to connect it. 6-5 suited is calling. This is on 35 blinds. Okay. This isn't as bad as I thought. I was looking at the wrong scenario there, but still. Okay, so this is not as bad as I thought, even though 8-6 suited is going home, and this is the cousin of the 7-5 suited. So the fold is the majority play here, but we do see some calling from that, and the 9-7 suited, full frequency of 7-6 and 6-5 suited. Okay, so it's not actually as bad as I thought here. Because we're hijack. Yep. Okay, making sure my example's right with the call. Okay. Feel a little bit better. Brick City. And then, let's see if now this is different. What do I, 6 for the straight? Okay, now we got to see something here. When they check this 10-8-3 flop, if I can start turning my hand into a bluff. So we're going to look at, since we are calling with some like 6-5 suited, 7-6 suited, some hands that aren't there yet. I want to see now if those hands will bluff and our opponent checks back on this board. So let's see. Call. 10 of diamonds, 8 of spades, 3 of diamonds. And then we get the old double checker. The turn is 4 of hearts. All right. Can I please start bluffing my 7-6 suited and my 6-5 suited? Yes. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Now let's see. I went with a third pot, kind of assuming I was going to bet twice here when I decided to go. But I actually, when I check back 10-8-3 after 3-betting pre-flop, they might have a lot of ace highs. I don't like this sizing as much. I think it's too easy for some like ace queen, ace king to just call here. Whereas if I make this like 9 blinds, I think I will get, I think the function of what I truly want to happen here, which is get folds, will be fine, and we can balance it more going 9 blinds. I think in real time when I bet 4 blinds here, I was thinking of betting twice, but also I minimize some risk here on my stack, you know, risk less in my stack. But I think looking at it now, I think I like bigger. Let's see what Solver has to say though. Sizing for like 7-6 is the closest hand to what I actually have. It likes half pot, so still that's even bigger than my sizing. It doesn't mind a smaller sizing, second choice, but the majority is bigger. I like bigger looking at it now. Let's see, this is half pot. At least half pot feels like much better to accomplish what we're looking to accomplish. Diamonds is okay. They're gonna get there sometimes. But yeah, see these other like gut shot type of hands, like the 7-6 suiteds, wants to go at least half pot and get more folds. This is, even from my stack, we can't be worried about how much of our stack we're risking. We just have to, I think if we're going to be betting here, think about what gets us closest to our goal, which I think is folds here. And it seems like the solver is agreeing, but thinking that it's more towards a half pot sizing, not a third pot sizing. Yeah, 7-6, 6-5 suited is open-ended. And the 6-5 suited likes a bigger sizing when it has the diamond draw. If we're looking at this, see this purple, this thick purple is 11.8 blinds into 15. If you're following my mouse here, bet 11.8. So that's what this purple is when we have the diamonds, when we have a bit more insurance. But otherwise it's sticking towards half pot with these other open-endeds. Okay, so I think we were ballpark here, but sizing was not well orchestrated. We get called. We get to the River King, which I didn't like. This is another situation where I didn't like the River King because hands that they would check back and call some bets, King Queen, small bet. My bet just, I did not give them a decision with 4 blinds into 13 here. I made their decisions are easy here. I'm thinking about myself here. This is a very selfish bet of me. I'm thinking about my own situation and not theirs at all here. I gave them an easy decision. Now I see half pot. I'm gonna find the 2/3 there, I think, regardless of my stack. We're just gonna invest in it. Yeah, because now we're in this awkward spot and I'm just checking. Let's see if Solver wants us to, again, what did I go? Oh, it's smaller. Let's see if we just shut down, they call. What's up, Dustin? How's it going? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I could do that in GTO Wizard. Just copy paste it. You're right to look at the exact situation. You are right. I will definitely do that next time. I guess because I was just kind of in the flow of looking at the hand through here, and then just clicking buttons real quick over here. But yeah, we could just copy the hand history, view hand details. For those of you who are using GTO Wizard, you could just go here. Copy, this will copy, and then hang on a second. I have it copied, but I want to see this river if it wants to bluff. And then I'll show you how to plug this in so that you guys can get accurate based on bet sizings. Thanks, Dustin, for the reminder. All right, now do we want to, with that 6-5 suited? No, we're shutting down. Yeah, we're not betting anything now. We're just shutting down in our position on the river. Okay. I did shut down. But so if you're using Poker Tracker, we do have a link for Poker Tracker if you'd like to get this as well. Exclamation point HUD in the chat. And if you want to download GTO Wizard, get the 10% off. Study along with us as we're doing our WSOP prep. Like I said, we'll be doing 10 to 15 streams before we head out to Vegas for the summer. Getting ready. I will be talking about theory here, ways that I exploit, and live poker versus online. So exclamation point GTO W in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, if you want to get involved with us and learn more about this GTO wizard. So yeah, I copied it, and we could go here, upload, and paste. So yeah, see this top right part, it's upload, and then I copied the hand history from my Poker Tracker 4. We paste, and then we hit analyze. And then now we can, so it's saying non-existent GTO spot in this one side because 7-5 suited is not opening and calling a 3-bet here. But in this exact example I did. So this will be something you'll find out if you're copying certain hands and it says non-existent GTO spot. It means you shouldn't have been in that situation. Shouldn't have been in that situation, right? But then from here, you could click study, and then it'll open this up. And you can study your hand exactly as it is versus what I've been doing, which is just getting close, clicking on my own. And now you could go through this hand, click whatever street, the actions are already put in. So shout out to Dustin on YouTube for reminding me that that's a thing you could do. Make it much easier. All right. So let's see, next hand. So yeah, now at this point, we are down to 24 blinds. Yep, so it's gonna happen soon. My bust out. So here it is, this pocket tens. So we got, now this was an interesting spot. So check it out. I decided not to 3-bet or to jam the tens versus under the gun, but I think this is like completely fine to 3-bet to get in or jam. I decided to call, and I need to look at this because I do not know we're gonna be doing much calling here from like 20. We started the hand with 22. But look what happened. I'll show you what happened, and then let's analyze the situation. Big blind squeezes. Under the gun folds. And now we're versus an under the gun open. We flat. And then now, still with this under the gun open, deep stack, the big blind decides to raise here. So their hand's going to be pretty strong. This is not going to be a weak range that we're up against. So do we want to get it all in here is the question. And I had deduced in real time that their sizing is very not considerate of my stack size. So it made me feel like they didn't think I mattered in the hand, or that they have a hand like ace, king, ace, queen, which does not mind just getting folds here. So with that said, I decided to get it in. We run it out, and they had ace, queen. And this is how we busted day 1A of the Venom. But the study point here is, should I be flatting here? Should I just be jamming here with the tens? That's the first point of interest. So let's go. We're about to see Thomas Savage. I see you over there on YouTube, buddy. You said he says raising here is a big mistake from the big stack. I don't agree, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. There's hands you just have to raise here. So let's see which hands they should be raising in a second, once we figure out my situation here. Okay. So we have, in this example, under the gun raise. We're looking at 20 blinds effective because that's what I have. I have tens on the button. So let's look at my button strategy. So yeah, 20 bigs we're just ripping in versus under the gun. With nines, tens, jacks, just all in. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Ace, king suited, ace, king off, ace, queen off. Just rip 20 bigs. I have 22. Let's see if anything changes at 25. Any flatting? No, still pretty much shoving. A little bit of making it 6 blinds to call off with tens. My flat is bad. My flat is bad. I don't love it. Even at 25, I thought at 25 it would do some calling. Let's see here if at 30 it does any calling. Where was my instinct? Was I poorly calibrated? Okay, at 30 bigs, we are doing some calling with tens. So we're kind of like approaching that, but at 20 bigs, just get it in. 22 bigs, just get it in. 25 bigs, just get it in. 30 bigs, now we can look at flatting tens on the button here, nines and eights, much more at 30 bigs. We can take it post flop and be able to navigate. But at 20 bigs and 25 bigs, we just can't navigate post flop with the tens, and it's too strong. We should just get it in. That's how we're going to compartmentalize it. Even though nines is a fairly heavy just call here, tens and jacks don't mind getting it in. Jacks, look at this though, it's so weird, right? versus this open on 25 under the gun on the button. If I had jacks here, it doesn't mind calling like a quarter of the time. Nines, it likes calling like 60% of the time. But tens, it's like, nah, just stick it in there, right? Okay, so what was the next thing? Oh, okay, so let's see this exact example. And I could just copy and paste this, but it's going to be a non-existent situation. Let's see. Let's check. All right, I called. We're gonna have to pretend my hand is jacks here. We're gonna go to big blind strategy. Now, Mr. Thomas Savage says that's a big mistake for the big blind to raise here. Let's see if that is a fact. I disagree. I think being this deep and everything, we do have some hands that we have to raise here. Let's see if ace queen suited falls into that scope. And this is the big blind strategy. There is definitely a notable bit. We got the manta ray of raising. So we even want to be raising here with, excuse me, with eights, nines, tens, jacks, ace queen offsuit, ace king offsuit. These are just shoving versus my effective stack, but this player is not just going to shove here because there's 100 big blind opener under the gun. But versus me, this is what their strategy would look like. So actually, we need to see what they would be squeezing more so from 100 to mimic this situation more so, because I'm a semi non-factor after I flat 20 here. I'm going to be folding a good bit. So their squeeze is probably more connected to the under the gun opener at 100 bigs. And these are the hands in the big blind we should be raising. So the ace queen offsuit, flipping a coin and raising, ace queen suited, pure 3-bet. At like 100 big blinds and deeper stacked, I've definitely noticed a lot of our suited Broadway stuff and suited cards like to 3-bet more often. With offsuit, just want to call. Deeper, they have more playability, can win bigger pots, make more nuts with these hands when we're deep stacked. So yeah, the ace queen suited wants to raise here all the time, never overcalling in this situation, in a 100 big blind situation. But again, the situation is complicated as I'm on 20 bigs. So let's go back to 25 bigs, big blind raises. And see this 7.6, this is a more conscious of the 20 big blind stack raise size, 7.6, not the 11.5 that actually happened. This is more connected to the initial raisers open, which their range is probably more important, again, because I'm just gonna be getting out of the way enough of the time. Let's see what they should be. Under the gun, folds, and then it gets to us on the button. And look at this. If they had chosen a sizing that doesn't force us to a decision, the times that we did flat nines or jacks just want us to call here and not get in. But they made it big enough to where I didn't feel like I had that decision. But assuming if I had jacks, it kind of just wants us to call here, man. Interesting. Call with our aces too, if they're going to be doing any folding. And then jam our ace jack suited, ace queen suited, kings, ace queen, and pocket eights and ace five suited for balance. Yeah, so it actually feels like I need to, this is a weird flat here on 20, right? Change this to 20 now. Okay. So yeah, so now looking, that was a 25 big blind stack, a little bit more room to still go post flop, have 18 bigs. But if they raise in the scenario on 20 bigs, let's see, actually under the gun. Let's just take our example. 20 bigs. Oh yeah, see, because it's just going to be different because it's not going to be non-all-in 3-betting. So yeah, I think it's fine. We got into a flip and we ended up losing at the end of the day. Yeah, but the question is how they would play the ace queen, right, Gumla? So we saw some different ways. Ace queen offsuit versus ace queen suited. They're almost two different hands from what we've seen in a lot of examples as far as like how to play them. And stack depth matters so much. It's all just so deep, complex. My gosh. All right. So, everyone, that's how we busted out of the Venom day 1A. We got a nice study session, and I feel satisfied. I did plan to do some training, but honestly, after a little over 3 hours of pumping through and digging through, I'm kind of, I don't want to say exhausted, but I feel like I've hit my capacity for learning right now. So I'm going to bounce. If you're on YouTube watching, thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching on Twitch and you enjoyed the stream. Oh, by the way, Pinsim, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And all the lurkers, everyone out there that's hanging out. Good luck there, Killer Clout. Did make it to day 2, 10 bigs. Still good to spin. Dr. Benway, thank you for hanging out and studying along with us. P. Shoddy, Aces on River, everyone. Yes, thank you so much, guys and gals. I appreciate that. So like I said, if you're watching on Twitch, you enjoyed it. I will be back. I will be back. We will be studying more before WSOP. Projections are 10 to 15 more study streams. So if you want to study with us, exclamation point HUD in the chat. If you want to download Poker Tracker, and exclamation point GTO if you want to download GTO Wizard while we are streaming and studying before WSOP, doing this prep work. Now is the time to download and learn with this tool. I will be here to help you and guide you and show you how to use it, tell you how I'm thinking, compare it. So if you want to learn to use it and be able to study on your own, now is definitely the time. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow's home game night. So if you're new here and you want to compete for a seat to go to the 2024 WSOP, I'm giving away 2 packages. There's still 4 weeks left to compete. And while we do have some players who have some big points on the board already, there's a non-zero chance that you can still come from behind and win. So for those of you who don't know, every Wednesday we have our No Delay home game stream. And whether I'm hosting it or someone else is, this league is going on. We're giving away big tickets and prizes on ACR. We have the engraved trophies that go out to the winners. Here's our home game Hall of Fame of all of our past winners. So yeah, join us on Wednesdays. Tomorrow will be another No Delay stream. We'll be banging out the home games, hanging out, giving away some seats into the game. Derek Snyder on YouTube, cheers. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you hanging out. And yeah, that is pretty much going to do it for today. So we'll see you Wednesday. And then Thursday, we'll be back on the Rounders Tonight live stream, playing some cash games. And Friday, I don't know. Maybe we'll put in a session Friday. And then Saturday, we'll be doing commentary on the Rounders live stream for the Pot Limit Omaha stream. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. So I thank you all again for hanging out. What's up, Nudist? Good to see you, brother. We'll see you tomorrow. Going on YouTube, Twitch, lurkers. I hope you enjoyed the study stream. We will see you next time. Make sure you follow me on socials. I am going to be doing more of these study streams. Some of them might be unannounced and kind of relatively quick if I cannot find a specific day that I can commit to. But I will be here. So thanks again for watching. Good vibes. God bless. Peace. See ya.